Hey, what up, everybody? Back in the saddle. The NASDAQ is back to the highs. I mean, okay, well, NVIDIA was at the high and now it's breaking a little bit further down, but everything looking pretty strong. Rigetti is up 36% today.
Oh, I cannot believe we were long $6.
36% today on Rigetti. Mom's spaghetti, although I haven't had spaghetti in quite some time, clearly it's tasting very, very good. So let people work back into the chat. I don't know if mine's even rolled over yet. There we are.
Mine never rolls over.
So I see myself. So let you guys matriculate on in. I know Sharif's going to get up onto the desk, see what you guys are talking about. The Playmaker poll, well, can't lose today. I can't think of any possible way that the long lost on the Playmaker poll, but you know, another long day in the market. Well, sometimes the timing of it, like I'll look back and it's like, well, it seems to me like it should have worked, but then, you know, like that very strict in at 1 o'clock or just after 1 o'clock out at like 1:55, 2 o'clock can get into some trouble. But almost no way when we're in these close to the highs on the NASDAQ that you can find yourselves in trouble. It was a rough, like Tesla had a rough morning. It's not all good. I mean, Apple's down. Okay, the market's at the highs and NASDAQ's up 0.7. Apple's down 4% and underneath VWAP. So, like, the punishment that Apple is seeing is still, like, it's weird. Like, they're in the penalty box like they're the New York Jets or something. Like, this is still a good company.
Yo, don't call Apple the New York Jets, my guy.
Sometimes I just say the first team that comes to my mind when I want to make a sports reference. And being a Buffalo Bills fan, it sort of comes natural to, like, who would you crap on in that division? The Jets, right? So...
I mean, I don't ever want to crap on the Detroit Lions. They had a great season, but that's a rough ending, man. They got absolutely dummied there, and then, yeah.
That's super tough. They were so good all year.
I mean, I'm fine.
They made some pretty ridiculously bad decisions, though.
Yeah, they have a bonehead coach. I mean, we talked about that from a long time ago.
And if you didn't watch the game, like he's a great motivator. Dan Campbell, unbelievable motivator. Picked out 2 fantastic coordinators. Like, there's just the players love him. Like, there's so much that he does well. The aggressive attitude. But the time, they had an obvious 4th and 2, and inside the red zone, 12 men on the field, and every coach on the Detroit sideline is screaming. They all know they have 12 men on the field, and they're screaming to get them off. Only either head coach can call a timeout or a player on the field. The players on the field obviously didn't know they had 12 on the field in that situation.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
Dan Campbell could have called a timeout.
Yes.
He's doing all this stuff. I'm like, that's the ball game. It was a 1-score game at that point. They ended up scoring a touchdown. No, he took responsibility, but it's just
it's tough.
It's like the little things. That's 100%. What scares me about our coach on the Bills is that, you know, McDermott's had some of those types of issues as well with management. It comes down to the nitty-gritty because if you take it back to trading, it's the equivalent of, I just let this big winner run all the way back to break even because I didn't move my stop order that I had an hour to move as I watched the stock go up. That's kind of the mistake that they made. But
look, I mean, I'm a Packers fan, so I'm hating on the Lions for a while. But we've been talking about Dan Campbell, and you guys have been watching this for a while. It was when they played the Packers. I think it was in week 14 or 15. I said the guy made an absolutely ridiculous decision. It wound up working out, but those things wind up hurting you come the playoffs because, as Neil said, you need to have
bite you in the butt.
Yeah, the best decisions are sometimes hard to make. That's no doubt. So, all right.
This Rigetti is.
Yeah, we had talked about some Rigetti earlier, but you know, I had to put a little bit of I don't know, man, Alfredo sauce on that thing. That thing just continues to get going there to the upside. I cannot believe we were long $6 at one point, and we'll probably talk about that because it's probably on the list of things to talk about. So let's go over to the desk with Sharif and figure out what we're doing next.
Gonna welcome everyone to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So join Joseph and I during How to Trade during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But it's a subs only chat, so you gotta be a subscriber. Shout out to everyone who subs and likes and share. All right, guys, here is a look at the triple Qs. We're already up 75.75%, I should say. The EOS, though, outperforming the NQ today, up 0.82. The Dow up 1%, and outperforming them all is the Russell 2000 up 1 3/4 as we watch small caps catch a bit of a bid. All right, guys, the first ticker as cited by you guys, TSLA. Look at that red candle all the way down. believe it or not, we're only down 1.25% after that big drop. A couple of headlines here. Obviously, Donald Trump signing an executive order yesterday, removing the EV credit, the subsidy. Piper Sandler maintaining overweight on Tesla and boosting the price target to $500 regardless. And then some of the Chinese EVs today, guys. I don't know if you had a look at this, but Li Auto, Xpeng, Neo, Zeekr, some of them are doing okay as, Trump revokes Biden's EV target.
I will cop to the didn't look at the Chinese EV names today.
Same.
So that's like 100% true. I think in the long term, if you think about it, like getting rid of the credit in any longer run scenario is obviously it's not good for any in the space, but there's only one company that's actually making money right now when they sell a vehicle. So, I mean, talking about here in North America, which would be Tesla. So like in the long run, it's probably like a kind of a bullish thing for them. Think of it in the same way as why does Walmart support minimum wage law? Because they know that even though they have to pay more, it's going to knock out the mom and pop. So it's worse news for Rivian than it is for Tesla, but that did not stop the Tesla bleed. So I think at the end of the day, I didn't really think that this was worthy of it falling the way that it did. I don't wonder how much of the lack of bid probably also had to do with some market makers not wanting to make a market on Elon stock. I don't know. Certainly it was a bleed. I took 2 mean reversion trades on Tesla. Both of them did not work out. Like clearly there was no, like the setup for the third didn't really exist. Like if you look at it on the 15, like it was almost too sharp in a lot of ways. I think really the best trade would have been coming back in on like a higher low off of 412. Overall, I still think you are pretty constructive on the daily chart. Like since you made the double bottom here at 380 or 375, like you've been putting in higher lows and you kind of held on to 400 today, the worst of it, and you're gonna, barring something crazy, close above like a prior resistance, or at least close challenging that prior low. So it still looks okay on this daily, but you know, if we're back at 400 tomorrow, that would be a problem. Like it's a nice little V-shaped recovery. It's going to be really important how this one holds up. You still have a couple of weeks. Oh, check that. No, you do not have a couple of weeks until earnings. You've got 1 week till earnings. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're running out of time for us to be breaking out going into those earnings with only about a week to go. Yeah, in my head there was 2 weeks till earnings for Tesla, but that's not true. They report literally a week tomorrow. So yeah, your time is sort of running out, I think, for Tesla to make that breakout. It was kind of the way it was looking. It looked like we were primed before this morning to be breaking toward that 480 or at least the 450 level going into earnings. It just means if they were to beat, it's a good place to come from. But a lot of times when you look for this mean reversion trade, it just never sets up. Like a stock can bottom without ever giving me a long that I could have reasonably had. And I know like this was a trade I can take because it had that mean revert. But then I look at this other mean reversion. There's no chance I'm grabbing this one because I don't have a good risk to reward buying it the second time or third time at 411. I think maybe you could have just played it off of VWAP. Rivian's under some pressure too. I think they're in some trouble.
Look, guys, I mean, like Tesla will pretty much be, well, for me, it's the only reason why I'm still red today, and that's because we really just chased. We only have one red stock today. It's Tesla. I say we. I have one red stock. We'll always talk about our stocks as individuals, but that coming in there, you know, hitting that 410, like we tried it 3 times. And then it broke. It broke. The low was 407. We wound up taking some outs there. We actually made money once we were down here, but we had lost it that first initial pump to the downside. So Tesla has these moves like, not all the time $20 straight down, but they've moved before like $10, $15 straight down. And then we've had $20 winners back upside, but this time we just weren't patient enough. And we wound up getting out. So we wound up making money here. Like, you know, we got out, got back in. Those were good. That was good. That was good. But there's the stop out. There's the buyback. And then one last try. We tried it real quick right there and got stopped out at 407. And then, or maybe it was 407.75. I can't remember the exact price. But at the end of the day, there's the rally back. So I ain't no holler back, girl. But right now, we are hollering at our boy here, Elon Musk, because this is a great move backside. If you're able to sit down there at 410 and grab that, congratulations, you're a better trader than I, because that was a fantastic one, and we got out too early. So in being honest, it's a negative stock for us, and it's It's the only reason I'm red on the day. So Tesla, I'll be back. Sharif, what you got?
3%, Sean, or almost here for NVIDIA as it comes into the highs. Good look. So yesterday, Donald Trump reversed Biden's AI policies for AI, basically a pseudo moratorium that he had put for restrictions on AI. That was removed yesterday by Donald Trump. Separately, today, shares of AI tech companies are trading higher after reports that President Trump will announce private sector AI infrastructure investment. You got the likes of OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, all planning a joint venture called Stargate and are expected to commit about $100 billion initially and then pour up to $500 billion, guys, in the next 4 years. We'll have to see how this all unfolds.
Nice.
I saw the original Stargate movie in the theater. The show had MacGyver in it. If anyone that... I forget the guy's... Now I can't remember the name of the actor from MacGyver. Back in, it was an 80s show, but yeah, Stargate was a terrible movie. Hopefully this plan works out fantastically for Oracle, which, by the way, like, there was a big seed change or big change in the market in a lot of AI-related names. I mean, Oracle made a huge run, Dell, ARM, and certainly NVIDIA was one of them. NVIDIA was it was a really choppy trade in the morning. Well, I should say the opening range, right? Because the morning goes all the way till noon, and it got a little bit cleaner in the about after 11 o'clock or so. But it did a breakout, came back in, tried to hold VWAP for a scalp trade, lost VWAP. Then held in front of the prior low for like a push back into VWAP, and then broke said prior low. Randy in his house.
Randy, thank you.
Randy, Rivian's in trouble.
They always
Tesla
have
was... Well, I mean, every time Randy comes here, well, most of the time Randy comes here, we'll point out that Rivian is having issues.
Yeah.
And then usually, sometime after that, Rivian makes a little bit of a bounce. So with Rivian under a tremendous amount of pressure, I'm just wanting you to give your positive pep talk, then we can bounce off 13 again, and we'll be staring at like that.
It's only down 90% from its IPO.
Well, I mean, that's not much.
That's
fine.
Know, it's not in trouble.
That's okay. But nobody's long up there. No, nobody.
Not many people, yeah.
Well, somebody is. But
Well, whoever bought it. I mean, hopefully you got out of it.
not us.
All right, I mean, we can look at Rivian. I don't even know if we had the chart up there where you were mentioning it. Rivian down today, down 6%. Wow. Tesla only down 1.5%. Right. Tesla was down a lot more. They've recovered nicely as well, but still underneath VWAP as we bounce off the 50-period moving average. I like this look down there. I mean, we've been talking about some stock. If there's names that you like and you're hitting the 50 and the 200, similar to with ExxonMobil, right? Go ahead, Randy. Yeah, is there anything?
This is a patience play. Just buy those dips. There's going to be bounces. The R2, R3 are coming. Yes,
right.
It's a while away yet. Tax credits are disappearing. Not much we can say about that. But at the end of the day, the cheaper cars are coming. Let's go.
So do you think that will ever be like Trump will do something with the tariffs as far as Chinese vehicles are concerned? Let them on board here into the United States or Canada with limited tariffs. Even if they slap a tariff on it of 25%, still pretty cheap. You know, to buy a $30,000 car from Neo, slap on 25%, you're still under.
You'd have to go bigger than
40. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're cost effective. They're well built. Tariffs is a whole other conversation.
Hold on a second. Would you drive a Chinese-built car like you would? Okay, just wondering because I know in the past we've had these discussions about it not being possibly built.
No. There's some really well built, very interesting toys out there that they've built.
All right.
Yeah. You know what? Again, brand loyalty, brand value. We've talked about it 100 times, but there's some very, very interesting things over there that we don't get.
That's fair. I can respect that.
You like the Neo thing, the battery switching? Yeah. Okay.
It's really cool technology. I don't know if I would want to sit around. I don't know.
The coolest of cool technology is with
expensive.
NVIDIA.
They build those. They build these like really like swank like battery swapping centers, which seems a little bit like inefficient and like why it's not very cost effective. Yeah, fair enough. The concept of it.
Apartment or something.
I guess that's true.
Well, I guess if you
wait. When are we getting our charging station downstairs? Because I got to.
Project is in progress.
Like no ETA or just a project in process.
About 5-6 weeks tops.
Weeks.
Oh baby, we're going.
Order the EV, Sean.
Yeah, baby.
Aren't you getting a Rivian though? You can't fit that downstairs.
Yeah, well,
you could. Yeah.
Good.
No.
Because what?
No, I joke. Of course, no, of
Easy
course
peasy.
you can.
No, we're getting our charging
what's his
stations
name has
and-
like an extended Escalade down there. So.
Oh, the land yacht.
Oh yeah, you can.
Comes
Yeah,
with
you
a
can
ship to
fix
shore
it.
license and an anchor.
Crazy huge, man. Yeah, okay. I want to get a smaller model of something. Maybe for me, probably like even a Model 3. Like I don't really. I just want to pimp it out. I want to get it all black. I take Sharif with me. We're gonna get like all matted out. We'll sit on some 22s. You know, if I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing. That's what
Sitting on them 20s.
I mean, how's my wife got 22s? I'm just sitting out in like 17s downstairs or something. Damn, liquid
That's
tires.
a pretty good idea how that happens.
Man, these girls in my life are just, it's too much, man.
No, but it's like the line. It's the line from The Godfather, right?
What's that one?
You know, we.
Family?
Yeah, well, basically, there's context to it. If you've never seen Godfather 2, then none of it makes any sense. So, quick explanation. He's sitting in a theater and and his friend sees like the most beautiful actress in the play, and he says, "Oh my God, isn't she wonderful?" And all he says is, "You know, I understand she's beautiful to you, but to me, there is just my wife and my kid."
Right.
And that's pretty much it, and that's what it's all about. And are we good now? What it's also all about is Hive Digital. Why?
Wow, that's
because
definitely-
Hive Digital Technologies, and that's on the NASDAQ, HIVE, pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining. A global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's doing pretty well today. Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. Learn more by following them at Hive Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com and sign up for the Hive newsletter for updates. Scan that QR code you see in front of you. Check the link in the old descriptione.
Yeah.
Rigetti, great day for Rigetti today, up over 33%. Had trouble with 13 initially, then 13.5. Now it's coming down, guys, into that 13, awfully close. No new headline on it today. Last week, though, we did see these recover after Jensen Huang and Mark Zuckerberg basically posited that we were about 15 to 20, maybe even more years out from quantum being usable in everyday life. We'll keep an eye out on that. Separate, though, from all this, you guys were talking about Neo and the charging station. I got to give you guys and the viewers, obviously, a look at how this is all working out. If my remote wants to work, there we go. All right, guys, here's what ends up happening. The car actually drives itself into the charging station. It's all automated. It turns into itself. You put it into a designated parking spot in front of the charging station. It then detects where the charging station is, and then it takes over. No driver input required. No driver input obviously required for the actual changing of the battery itself. This is Neo watching in real life as the battery gets changed. I think this is interesting if they can make it cost effective, boys. But obviously, you got to wonder where all these batteries are going to go.
Sick.
It's super
Did you have
cool.
that loaded before I said that, or you went and grabbed that? Oh, this guy's too much. This guy's elite over there. Sharif, thanks for making
that's
our
sick.
favorite segment even better. So Sharif doing the best or the most with the least there.
They got to build out
That was sick.
They should build out a Chinese EV in the next time on the midday show because they've done like the build out. They build out a Tesla.
Can you build out a Neo? I don't know if you can do that.
Well, maybe a Li Auto. You can probably
Maybe
I don't
you
know.
can.
Maybe you can. I don't know whether you can.
What are we talking about? What does it do with Rigetti?
This is not. Doesn't really have anything to do with.
Well, Neo
Rigetti.
comes with Rigetti software.
There,
No, probably does not. I have no idea. I have no idea what any base cases are for Rigetti or for D-Wave or for anybody. Yeah, well, the thing is, if you have quantum software in your car, then it can like maybe re-engineer like
you need
gas.
the flux capacitor.
Yeah, then you need the flex capacitor.
Yeah.
You know what? You need a lot if you have quantum computing in your car. Now that I think about that, but Rigetti's been a monster. So why don't you talk about that?
It's been a monster. By the way, I have to every time there's a reference to Back to the Future, with like one or two exceptions, that is one of the best written time travel movies in a general sense. They do a really good job of it. There's like one gigantic mistake with Chuck Berry, but Rigetti, if there was a mistake on Rigetti, there's like a term like buy high, sell higher. Well, sometimes when you add two things on breaks higher, like you can end up in a situation where it's a little too aggressive. So like Rigetti, look, rocket ship off the open. If you took a breakout on Rigetti at the open, like this is what 10.45. $10.45 was the local high break this morning. And if you were taking the break of the prior high, that was in here right at the open at like 11.16, 11.20, like whatever. Like those are ridiculous longs. I didn't get to this until everyone was yelling and screaming about it, and it was bouncing back above VWAP here and held at $12 level. It did make the play to the high today, so that was good. Then I decided, hey, why not add to it on a 13 break? Which that's probably fine. What didn't make any sense and why we gave a bunch back is why add at 13.30 to give it to 13? Like that was, I think that was a kind of a silly execution. The longs are unbroken, and if you're looking at any of the other names, I don't care whether it's IonQ or let's just pick D-Wave because I like pick on D-Wave a little bit here. I think Rigetti was double pretty much every single one of these. Like they're all up. Like QBTS is up 16% here. That's not. You know, like it's nothing.
Not nothing.
Yeah, it's not nothing, but IonQ as well. This one's up 13, 14%. Again, not nothing, but like today it was Rigetti and then sort of everything else, which I think becomes a little bit important because that QBTS, like this D-Wave, well, when I see them all do this and Rigetti break out level after level after level, well, if you don't even break last week's resistance on QBTS, if Rigetti decides to go down, yeah, QBTS looks like this looks like it's a more of a short than the other ones here, but more like the 650-ish area. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. There's a situation in which you can be 15% up and be relatively weak. And I think Rigetti makes QBTS look exactly that to me.
Like, you know what's popping? We don't have crypto on there, which is really strange. Why no one wants to talk about crypto today, but we have IBIT. Wait a minute, this is not even the right, that's the wrong sticky note. Okay, I'll have to find the right one. But today's sticky note had IBIT. There it is right here, 59 long. So here's the one today, 59 long. We're long on IBIT right now. I just want to bring it up because I'm getting some more out here as we've now broken below the 50 period. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, and just in case you're wondering, like, if we're starting to get out of this, we bought IBIT down here huge. It's an absolutely, it is like basically, well, for me, it's just double the position on the futures, but it's a good trade there for IBIT. Nice move to the upside on this name. So just letting you know that we're starting to get some more out. And on the futures, we're still long the futures from down here as well. That's already started to break. We're going to wait for the 200 period, give it a little bit more love. But yeah, look, Rigetti, we're in and out. We got long at 6, out at 9. I thought we were doing pretty good. That was one day. That's off the 50 period moving average on our GTI. Let's just go to Apple, and then we'll get to SMCI, and we'll talk more about quantum as the show goes on. So let's go back over to the big man and see what he has to think or has to say about Apple.
Blood on the street, Sean, for Apple, already down 3.8% off the lows, but it was a tough day today for Apple coming into that $220 area. Just to give you some context, we closed around $230 on Friday, guys, and here is why we are selling. Jefferies downgrading Apple to underperform and lowering the price target to around $200. Likewise here with Loop Capital downgrading Apple to hold, but maintaining that $230 price target, and JP Morgan maintaining their overweight rating on Apple, but lowering the price target to $260. And I think this is why it was moving, though, guys. Forget about all these upgrades and downgrades. Nancy Pelosi was selling Apple, filing that over the weekend, guys. She did add to some other positions of hers. If you want, have a look online there. Nancy Pelosi selling Apple.
It's like right as you said it, Apple broke VWAP. Right as you were finishing that little bit of a crawl, I'll just come on over to Apple quickly here, because I didn't trade Apple this morning. It was like the number 2 thing on the list. It was like, yeah, Jefferies downgrade, trend continuation, 228 was level I liked. You can't really see. I mean, it's adjacent to this low, but go back on a 15-minute, and it was looking for what I thought was a strong enough market to push maybe into a 228 area for the short. I mean, clearly Apple just broke everything to the downside, and then I just shorted VWAP the first time it got. It's the same reason I'm in Walgreens, because Walgreens did the same move where you didn't pop, you just dropped, and then shorted off VWAP after the fact. But Apple still under pressure. I think you could make the argument that if you were a buyer at the 200 period moving average, you can make the argument that this morning was your buy. You know, it didn't really get down into the 17 or 16 range there, but a break of 220 did happen by a little bit. So this might have been that moment for you. on Apple. I think it'll be a little bit more difficult to look for, because the 200 period's there. I don't know how aggressive I'd want to be looking at the shorts coming into tomorrow, but as long as it holds some resistance today, we'll see if VWAP can get retaken. Like right now, it still looks a little bit strong off of VWAP. Like this was one of the few stocks that looked like it was still setting up. I mean, Walgreens is its own story, looking like it's setting up for an afternoon short. And even Apple catching a bid here, that 200 period on stocks that you like tends to be gold. And I think you might have just got at least the first dip off that level this morning on Apple. They report on the
30th.
Yeah, the 30th. So they're the day after Tesla. So you get them next week as well. So that's a big report. With everyone saying doom and gloom, right? It's probably not going to take that much.
No, Apple's going to rip. Apple will be much higher on the 30th than it is today. But you got to wait for that start to happen. You got to wait for that trend to happen, right? We talked about that earlier, that if you ever got into this area, it's probably worth buying. I have tons of Apple already. It's obviously been one of the names that I first bought Apple when I first got my first iPhone. So, and that was the very first iPhone. So, as it goes, or the first one with the screen on it. I don't know if there was one before that. But anyways, it's been a good run for Apple. It's not like it's the greatest stock of all time. I mean, there are other names like an NVIDIA or things like that that continue to appreciate more and that I think have a better runway moving forward, because Apple just got taken down there in China. Not taken down, but as far as number one producer there, they're number 3 or 4 now, I think, there in China. So it's not, there are definitely some headwinds, and it has to do with demand, not necessarily supply, which they've never really had that before. A lot of the time we have supply issues with Apple. So I just want to wait to see. Neil just nailed the number there on the 30th. So once that comes through, then I think it's go time on Apple. There's no need to buy it now. Like, I just think that you're right here. If you're going to take a position, you can. I don't think it's like in an all-in situation like where, oh my God, I can't believe how far Apple's gone down. Like, this is very possible. We've seen these hits before on the name. We just went from right back here just December that's December of 23. So yeah, just last year, we had a high there of 200 all the way down to 165. So that's $35 off of there. So the fact that we're down, it's bad. We're down 15%, I think, from the highs. It's not a great look for Apple, but I still believe in the company, and I think it's a buy situation. I mean, this guy may disagree with us, but I don't know. I'm buying Berkshire anyway, so we'll figure that out. You can take my management fee there, Warren, and we'll just buy some insurance companies together, and you leave Apple to us. We'll buy it on these dips. So far, so good there for Apple. If you bought that 220 dip, will it last? We'll find out. I think earnings very, very important for Apple.
As 5 2/3 in the clear. It was last time I saw it. No specific catalyst today for SMCI. It was moving up, though, with the broader chip sector. There was this headline from last Thursday, that is, not from today. SMCI was trading higher on Thursday after Hindenburg, we all know that to be a short seller, previously issued a short report on SMCI. They are shutting down, but it should be noted that that short report led to Department of Justice investigation, guys, which still hasn't been concluded, nor has their possible delisting from the NASDAQ.
Yeah, like it feels like things have really settled down for SMCI in some regards. Like it's turned into a outside of, I mean, obviously today notwithstanding, it's up 5%, but it's turned into a bit of a sideways trade here. 50 period is being hugged, $30 is being held, and there really hasn't been that much negativity in the stock. Like I think what it looks like is you just have a fail break at 30, and now all of a sudden you've got buy support, and you've got the 50 period holding. I think a slight uptrend could make a lot of sense. Now, this morning, I didn't think of any reason. There was no reason to be looking at SMCI this morning outside of when it showed you that big move. And if you got greedy and started looking at the dip too early, you got absolutely burned. So I think this afternoon, maybe a VWAP trade, 31.90 on this 15-minute looks pretty solid as a prior resistance spot that held in the morning session or like at the late morning session. That's a pretty decent spot if it can hold on to. Maybe look for a dip buy continuation here on SMCI. It's not the one that I just went to type in Palantir and I typed in SMCI again. It's not the one that I'm currently looking at. I think Palantir this morning, it showed you a similar parabolic move and then a reversion, whereas SMCI parabolic up and then came back in. Like Palantir was setting up like Tesla did, where I like to dip into the prior high, kept giving it shots. Eventually, it broke down. I was never taking out the majority of it, so I ended up red on Palantir. Did get a bunch of it back with a single long, so it paid some fees at this point. But this is a very appealing liquidity grab from a bullish standpoint. You know, like a lot of times, like this is already in an upward channel. So there's your, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row to the upside. You then did a liquidity grab all the way down to that $70 level, only to close right back up and try to fill in this gap. This chart only has it from when Palantir moves to the NASDAQ, but you can still get the idea. Still a couple of dollars to go to a key 75 level for PLTR. I don't know if we'll see VWAP again, but it just bounced off 73. I'm going to give it a shot to pull back into 730, but now VWAP is pretty much right in front of that prior high. Like the prior high from Friday, VWAP is sitting just in front of it. So I'm going to look at a 73 long if we bounce there, or if it doesn't hold 73, just look for a VWAP bounce here on PLTR. Super strong one today. It's only 2%, but I don't think that does it justice in terms of the actual price action it was able to pull off.
Yeah, Palantir was tough today for sure. Like, I'll be slightly up, Neil's slightly down. Like, it's just one of those trades where it's like, oh, you got to hold on to that. I feel the same way about Tesla, man. Like, we could have made it all back, but we had gotten stopped out of Tesla. Just like, Palantir, Palantir, I got stopped out too right there when it broke. That was live. We nailed it again. Stay green by very, very thinly stay green as we do break that pre-market or sort of that 4 o'clock bottom there from Friday, and we went red and then obviously right back into Greensville. But you know what's happening right now? It's a hot dog kind of trade right there as Joe, myself, really nailed IBIT today. And, it was just such a good trade. I think it was one of the easiest trades today, just based on what we thought about all the rhetoric coming from the White House and all that kind of stuff. Really liked crypto, and there it goes, man, 106 and change. It's just, I think it's going to moon. We've been talking about that. I recently bought at 94,000, and I made that clear when it was at 88,000, so on and so forth. So, nice move up right now for that. I'm not planning on selling anything. If anything, want to buy a little bit more. But IBIT right now, it is props up to anybody trading. It is by far going to be P&L number one today for me. And then also the TQs is right there as well. And I just want to bring this to everyone's attention because there's the 50-period moving average. We're not just sitting here with fun lines. We're actually using these lines and some technical analysis. So there's a little out there as well. Out at 85 at the high of the day, out again right there. Neil, it's 200 handles plus in the money right there. So that was another one and a face slapper. So we'll wait for that as we go. But again, very, very similar. I can't even, it sucks, man. And again, that I always talk about, sort of the numbers and everything like that. Like, I lost basically like 4 times on Tesla here than I made even on IBIT. So it's like I took a swing at Tesla and missed. So I'm going to try to get, we'll see if we can get green today, but it was a big one. And I know, some of those ratios, we talk about it, but that's what it's about, right? It's about like just telling you guys that we took a swing at Tesla and missed today, but we did put some money right back in. We made some IBIT, we made some TQs, covering up about half of that damage. So we still have some emotional damage based on that, but so far so good as we continue to watch out.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, my kids always say that to me. Emotional damage. I have no idea. It must be a meme or something.
It is. It's. I've seen. Okay, my daughter's into YouTube memes and that kind of stuff. The problem is for my daughter's in grade 2, so everything is, she's way always behind on all the recent stuff. So she was doing the emotional damage a while back, but now everything is, and maybe this is something that the kids say these days, but she says true after everything. She'll make a statement and then she'll say true. Netflix right now tanking in front of earnings. True, bro. True. And then she calls me bro.
No cap?
Well, she doesn't say no cap.
Oh, no. She just saying to me and you. We're real cool. That's how we talk.
I can't even. I don't think I've even used no cap. Have I ever said that before? I don't think I have.
No, you're not as cool as me.
But we are going to Adara no cap.
There you go.
Take a look here at some of these airlines, including AAL and UAL, United Airlines, and American Airlines. United Airlines actually also reporting tonight alongside Netflix, but they're on watch right now because Valor Economico reporting basically that UAL American Airlines and Lufthansa and Air France are amongst the airlines in talks to buy a stake in Brazil's Gol Airlines. Keep an eye here in UAL, AAL. They are part of a conglomerate of airlines reportedly looking to buy a stake in Gol. Back to you guys.
Yeah, we flew Lufthansa.
Yep.
Yeah, we flew them.
Yeah, they're
going
huge.
to Rome. They're gigantic. I mean, they're all over the place in Europe. My daughter liked their planes. I'm like,
What's the one?
she hasn't been on that many planes. I'm like, yeah, you like any plane that she'll love a plane the more colors it has on it.
Right, that's natural.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. Like, that's kind of not the way that I look at things. But no, Netflix is making a big move to the downside. So make sure you stick around. It's Tuesday, right? Like I almost said, aftermarket show is going to have Michael Noss on, but no, it's a Tuesday. So it will be Brian Shannon joining Sean and Adara for Netflix earnings. And Netflix, they're up 0.7%, but that is a trend break if I've ever seen one on Netflix. So it could just be, I mean, it's clearly like a technical trend break here. Like if you look at it, like right there's your higher lows, and it breaks the trend, and it sort of falls back in. And then you throw in the run that it's been on back to the, guess what, 50-period moving average. Like Netflix, not that I was looking at Netflix today, but that's the second time in the last couple of sessions you've wicked right into the 50-period on the daily, only to pull back technically. So, yeah, Netflix, if this can break above the 50-period moving average, it would be glorious. But I think that's a bit of a short-term barrier that the stock is going to have on it. What just happened over it? No, Apple. Apple right back underneath VWAP. Apple just cannot hold the bid today.
84.39. I'm going to get out of half.
84.30.
Yeah, 84.39. I'm going to get out of half of what we have left here. Oops, that did not go out because my trigger was a little bit lower. All right, 84.39. Is that the right price? Yeah. All right, we'll get out of half of what we have left. We almost have nothing left. Which is the good part about this TQQ trade. So we have like less than 5% left. So we're just kind of playing with house money here and loving every minute of it. So, but again, house money is only house money when it's in your pocket. It can only be realized once it's in your pocket, of course. So right now we're going to wait to see if we can sort of get a little bit of a flow through here on the TQs. Look, if it comes back up, that's fine. We'll take another piece out of the 50. Other than that, we'll take out half if it does crank this level, and then we're out. So we're just going to relax and sit back and hopefully watch some of these trades come through for us. So that's the TQQs. I still want to look at Tesla. I mean, I think we missed that 420. I mean, I initially went long in there at 420 thinking it was going to be a level to hold. So I should really be debating going the other way right now, obviously, in Tesla as I look at this, and it's holding off breaking through 420. That high is really 421. I'd like to see it, as we zoom in, do something more in and around VWAP here. So let's wait. If VWAP was like, I mean, we're getting close. You could take a shot. VWAP's only 416. I mean, $2 worth of risk. If the market wants to go, fine. It's a big day for the market. We blasted through VWAP and have never been back. So that's why I'm saying that I really do like it. It's just a matter of how far can we go now on the NASDAQ. I mean, we've already made these highs. We basically sort of double, triple topped it out here at 21,750 right there. We did talk about that bottom. And remember when we looked at the NASDAQ previously, we just opened this chart up and I was like, yeah, 21.5 down right into down here. No, sorry, right into here where we were this morning. I was like, what day are we? But right into there. It does bounce nicely. We didn't get exactly that low, but we got 21,525. And that's where we sort of stepped up, put on that futures trade, and the rest is history on that one. So we'll wait to see. I'm actually nice move up there in Tesla. Again, I feel like we want to stay long some of these like Trump trade names because we could always get something. Roblox starting to go now as well. I like this Tesla break. I feel like we were right there at 417 previously. So yeah, that might be something down there for Tesla. Is that a call for Adara? Now let's go.
Let's take a look here at this new graphic from TTV Research on Netflix. Speaking of that Netflix move in earnings tonight. So this is actually look here at its revenue each year, starting in 2007. I started in 2007 because that was the year that Netflix launched its streaming service and stopped just doing straight video rentals. So NFLX, since that time, has grown its revenue quite exponentially, actually increasing 32.4% year over year here in 2017 to exceed $10 billion in annual revenue for the first time ever. The revenue growth did slow a little bit in 2022, which we know coincided with a bit of a drop in the stock. But either way, NFLX has been on quite the journey. Definitely give this graphic a look on TTV Research on X. Also worth noting, I looked into the VATE stock. The company's called Innovate. They are a small cap with about a 5.7% short float. Friday, a couple hours after the close, they announced that they received FDA approval for one of their kidney testing treatments. We've had zero news since then. And we have, again, 5.7% short float, $130 million market cap for VATE. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. Yeah, it was a late Friday. That's why, because on my chart, I can't see the aftermarket action on that VATE because, and again, like every system is going to be different, but I start my data at like 6 and then sort of end it, I believe, at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. So late day move for VATE. I guess that's what we're calling it because it's Innovate. Quadruple, I mean, on a 3-minute chart, actually that's now, 4 times it's tested $10 without actually breaking it. So this is one, it gets out and about, and this is like a blue sky setup here at the $10 level, but it is a clean $10 level of resistance. Let's go to Adair. We did get a super chat. We'll get to that when we come back.
Just another update here. Yet another ticker that could be impacted here by this collaboration here, allegedly between OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle. As announced earlier today, or reported earlier today around 12:45 by CBS, all 3 companies are apparently forming a joint venture called Stargate. They're going to be apparently investing in AI infrastructure in the U.S. I'm also seeing some reports they're set to announce this venture this afternoon as they're set to visit the White House. However, Microsoft, now being floated around as another company involved in this joint venture, as reported just now by Financial Times. Microsoft is already kind of correlated to this venture because they do have a stake here in OpenAI, which is one of the 3 companies involved. But keep an eye on all of these Stargate companies. There is a tweet on TTV Research that you can take a look at with every single company that could be potentially implicated in this Stargate deal, guys. Back to you.
We're getting barely moving. So actually, we just got a second super chat there. So first one, thank you, Kyle Burdett. Appreciate you for the super chat. And it's just Lufthansa, Hank, that you, it's Jimmy. If I'm missing the reference, then you can laugh at me or mock me all you want. But just let me know what you mean by that one. And then Vulcan here with the CK. I should know what currency that is, but it'll come to me in a second.
It's Singapore.
That's Singapore. Okay. I need to hear Sean's view on Netflix report. Well, the report's not out, but it will be out in the aftermarket, and I know you guys will be all over covering Netflix for sure. Before we get to that, you did mention the Trump trade longs, and a lot of them have been really strong. The one that's not is DJT itself. DJT's down 11%, although it bounced off the 50 period here, so you can look at the daily and say it held on to the 50 period, but 11%. Tomorrow, I'm going to probably be thinking SSR bounce. Like day 2, short sell, it'll be short sell restricted tomorrow. I think that'll give you an opportunity, but the last couple of sessions, and I mean like specifically literally the last 2 sessions, DJT going into it has done some dumping after 2:30 and into 3 o'clock, like mean revert there, breakdown there, like a couple of breakdowns. And now you're underneath VWAP again. So there isn't a clean, flat bottom break like it did on Friday, but maybe just like a VWAP continuation is going to set up. So yeah, it's stair-stepping to the downside. It being short sell restricted, it does mean that you have to get hit on the offer. You can't, even if it were to break a flat bottom, you can't really punch short here in the traditional sense unless you get that uptick. So DJT underneath VWAP, going to look for a push back into 36. I just went over to Palantir, which, I mean, it's not
the best.
It's not moving a lot. That's it. Like with the NASDAQ pulling back the way that it is, Palantir is holding on pretty decently. I just thought this dip in the futures might get you either back into 73 for a dip buy or to VWAP for a dip buy. Right now, it's doing absolutely neither on PLTR. I am still in Walgreens, and I'm trying to get more in front of VWAP. It's not obliging, but I looked over. I'll zoom in. So all I did is short off VWAP. But if you look at it right now, there's not size on $10.94. Like I'm looking at it right now, there's actually more shares at 95 than there are at 94, but there's somebody holding 94 on Walgreens anyways. So there's not too much of a reason to just sit there in front of $11. If it's going to hold this level, might as well just try to get like 93 or 93.5, give it a 95 stop, and then if it breaks that, wait until VWAP again. So I still have some from VWAP, but just looking at it, there's nothing on the offer right now. It just looks like a regular level, but for now, holding here on WBA. Yeah, so I like the dip buy. We just talked about in Palantir, if we can get it. Rigetti seems like it wants to give you an opportunity for a dip buy here at a 13. Just have to be patient for it. Rigetti in the last 10 minutes has moved like 6 cents. That's not going to continue, but I'd like it to make the next move before I jump in.
All right, let's talk a little bit about earnings. And we got that question about Netflix, so let me talk about it. I think Netflix is going to be big. I love the stock. I mean, we're watching Netflix. We're doing. I saw something Kings of Tupelo. That was so stupid. But anyways, we're still watching it, right? So as it comes back in, the thing about it, as you look to see for earnings, the problem is you're underneath the 50-period moving average, but you really did hold pretty nicely there. Unlike Apple, you see what happens when they want to sell it. It just keeps on going down. So I feel like it's actually now gotten some of that, as we said, some of the cream off the top, or for the foam off the top as well, and the Apple beer there. This got trimmed as well. So Netflix, you're not having to buy highs here if you buy. If they wind up beating, and they just have to beat by a little bit. The previous move was 11%. They're only expecting 8 right now. So if Netflix can come up with a decent, it doesn't even have to be an outstanding report. I think the Jake Paul fight was huge. I think they proved that they can have a huge audience for nothing, basically. And I mean,
Well, yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that was a big fight, but they got people signing up left, right, and center. People that never even.
It wasn't nothing.
What do you mean? The fight was nothing, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, obviously for Netflix, it's huge,
Yeah.
but it's just like, imagine what happens with, FIFA and all this stuff that they wind up, Formula One. I don't even care if they have these contracts or not. The idea is that sporting events, we saw the possibility of what they can do there on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day or whatever. They had those football games. They were the most watched games that day. They got 4 or 5 times the NBA numbers. And these guys pay ridiculous amounts of money for NBA rights. So they may even be paying less for NFL than they probably should be. So I think Netflix beats. I think it's really set up nicely there for that. But I don't have that crystal ball to tell you that they will. I just know that they still are underdeveloped in India and in some of these sort of up and coming. I'm just hearing something about, what was that? Romeo, Rumble. Okay.
Rumble, yeah.
Romeo, Uniform, Michael in our ear, Rumble. But we'll take a look at that. Anyways, I just think that Netflix has a wider net to cast. And I think they'll reel those in. And especially with the new ad tier, I'm not on the ad tier, so I don't know. It does piss me off when I'm watching like Beast Games or something with the kids, and it's like they put an ad at the beginning and maybe like an ad in the middle. Yeah. Just not used to that. And I recently got Discovery for my daughter who wants to watch Toddlers and Tiaras, so I paid for that, and there's ads all over that. So I actually upgraded from $5.99 a month to $10.99 to avoid the ads. So I hate those ads, but I don't think they're that bad for many people. And apparently they're making more money ad tiers than they are with their normal subscriptions.
I'm with you. I feel like Amazon, like I know I said this live.
I think for Netflix.
I wasn't that aggressive in terms of like hating on the ad tier for Amazon when it first started. I was like, oh, it doesn't seem all that bad. But like it's like now it's more intrusive. I feel like it's way more intrusive now than it was
you have
before.
ad tier?
No, like I watch the ads. I don't pay to get rid of the ads on Amazon.
On Amazon,
and it's it is a pain in the butt. And I don't pay to get rid of.
Check the account here, see what.
Like, look, at the end of the day, like I love Netflix. It's the one that I ultimately pay for them all. Let's be real, but it's the one that I couldn't. We definitely couldn't live without. Right? Like when we're doing our movie night, half the time it's going to be Netflix. Disney, I'll pretty much always have just because I'm like a Star Wars and a superhero junkie, so I'm always for that. But it was so Rumble just now. I didn't catch the news. I did hear Rumble, as you just mentioned, but this is basically the same V-shaped, has nothing to do with Palantir, but that's the same V-shape that Palantir had. That is a very bullish liquidity grab that happened today on Rumble, and now it's starting to break out these highs, and the volume doesn't even look all that great. I'll maybe see if I can't figure out what that news just was, but yeah, I didn't catch it, but whatever is going on here in Rumble is yeah, it's looking very, very strong. I just like to see what the news was because it's not really doing any volume for a big breakout, but I think it's setting up pretty close to be able to want to go here. Yeah, Rigetti's still not doing much of anything.
The Money Storm.
Yeah, Palantir not doing anything either, but Rumble looking interesting.
Yeah, Rumble looking interesting right now, but there's a Money Storm right now on iBit. We're just in the money right now, $2.50. So let's freaking go right there. So this Money Storm, and there, thanks, Joe, for that, but I did find it. I got that. Back-to-back Money Storms right there. But at the end of the day, iBit's going right now, just broke 107. So those of you that are all about crypto, you're in the right space, man. I mean, we traded it, we nailed it. It's by far the #1 stock, and maybe my best trade, honestly, on crypto since we started. So let's go back over to Miss A.
You have Rumble here, RUM. There is a catalyst for this. The company's official social media page posting that they've apparently made an all-time record for average concurrent creator live streams as of, apparently it looks like what happened here yesterday. That's what they're saying. They don't make this super specific, but it seems like it was the inauguration day. So yesterday, they did post an all-time record for average concurrent creator live streams. So that means the amount of, I guess, creators live streaming at the same time apparently reached its previous record. Their last records here were December 6th, and then again on the election night, so November 5th. RUM here to the upside with that record being posted. Keep in mind, decent short float, double-digit short float for RUM. They also have a JD Vance connection. Peter Thiel and JD Vance had previously invested in this through Narya Capital. So keep an eye on RUM, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Okay, I mean, that kind of makes some sense. So, yeah, they would have gotten a lot to expect there. The volume not really following through on that, so just watch out. Doesn't look quite as enticing.
Rumble's a Canadian company, of course.
Oh, Canada, of course.
Yeah.
We like
They're listed there.
we like the Canada. Oh, so it looks like Walgreens might have
Rumble could go.
given ye old fill. So remember, I was saying $11, but then whatever is happening at $10.94 on WBA, like it sort of speaks for itself. So I just popped on to get a 92 half fill. So we just got that fill now. If it breaks above this, kind of like an easy out there above 94. Like if it ticks above this seller at 94, jump out. I still have some from VWAP, but let's see if that works its way back in. Ooh, little bit of a dip on Rigetti. Not huge, but yeah, not much, but it did pull into like 13.10 and then right back up. So every time they sell it, it's coming right back in here on RGTI, up that 35 points today. Just unbelievable runner. This is starting to look a little bit good. Might nibble in here. If it gets down to like 13, I don't know, I want like 13.10s ideally in front of 13 even, but it's starting to look like it wants to get there. So WBA, that's just a reload in front of that 1094, and we mentioned DJT here. This is just holding the line underneath VWAP. Like all it has to do is break this. Like here's your hold under VWAP, break this local consolidation low. The order is going to get thrown, whether or not when you hit the bid you get a fill. You know the uptick rule works like that, but sometimes you get the fill. You just got to throw it out there and see if one gets it. So I'm looking for a sideways breakdown still on DJT. It's worked a couple of days in a row around this time of day. I don't see any reason to get away from it just yet. Danny saying Tesla dump into the close.
Maybe. So we had that monster trade the other day on Tesla into the close where we ran it through the bottom and absolutely destroyed that trade. So I'm thinking like you might be onto something into the close there for Tesla on the downside. I don't know if you guys remember. I could probably find it. I think I don't know if it was $7 or $8 straight down off the close there on Friday. I mean, we can just look. Yeah, right into there on Friday. We had this move there. So that was a good move. We'll see if we can do it again. Yeah, there it was. Yeah. 432s, 433s, all the way back into 426. Now we're a little bit under that, 415 and change. I don't anticipate a complete dump into the close. We had talked about the futures trying to hold out right now, so they are still trying to do that. So we'll just continue to watch it. I mean, I think crypto holds the day here for sure. A strong name that was a Nancy Pelosi name was Amazon today. And oh boy, what was Amazon's highs? I did want to talk about DraftKings. DraftKings is a missed opportunity, but I'm really, really glad that we talked about it. One of the favorite stocks of mine, DraftKings, We own a very, very small piece. We did not rebuy DKNG, but I like it. This is the vacation stock, which, by the way, get ready. I'm going to be putting some vacation time in the calendar very, very soon. I think we're going to maybe go to Punta Cana or something. Nice. But Amazon, man, we bought this thing at 160 or 175 right down here. Maybe it was even down here. And we called it, this is the Katina vacation stock. And we haven't got anything out. So right now, I think we maybe will do that and see where we go from here. But I like that trade. Now breaking through highs. Maybe we hold it, man. Maybe we hold the fort on this trade now that we know that Nancy was buying some upside calls in that as well. And then the largest position of our account is right here, and it's Google. So we can see this was an absolute monster of a position and a great trade, holding these highs. We can try to figure out when they report, but Google's looking real good, man. This is.
They're the next one.
I feel like it's going to.
Oh, did you see Amazon?
Just rip off of this. Just because we've really held this bottom there, we kept on trying to break. We had bad news in quantum. We had some, overhang there on Google. We still have the DOJ. They're still being investigated. We still have, oh my God, Sharif doesn't like Gemini, but Gemini's awesome. So there it goes back up to the upside as they battle ChatGPT and they battle like, hey, what's going to happen to our revenue from ads? How about growing? That we're worried about search. Now I search, and actually right at the top of the search is a response from Gemini, and you get the traditional.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And so me too. So you also get the Google search, the past responses where they're surfing the web. So,
I have an easy 50-50 for you.
Yeah.
And I think these might be the exact same distance from their 52-week high.
Google. Go ahead with it.
You didn't even see the other one.
No, I was just going to say.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that simple.
What was the question?
Who breaks the 52-week high first, Google or Amazon? I think it's a very reasonable. I think, what is this? Amazon is
it's $2.
$2.40 away, so 1%. So Amazon's 1% away from its 52-week high.
How about this? What one do you like better in the next 3 months? Because breaking the highs, it's just a matter of, we could get an upgrade tomorrow and one of them breaks. So if you could put in $5,000 for 3 months, which stock would you pick? Maybe for a swing. I'm going to go with Google because I think there's a lot of levers that these guys can pull. I still like Amazon.
Well, it's hard for me to make the Amazon argument when more recently I've liked Google and bypassed buying Amazon dips to buy Walmart dips. So I'd be going against my own book to say Amazon. That being said, if you look at it technically today, Amazon had a better reaction to this high than Google did. Yeah. So if you get, with the benefit of hindsight, this is what Amazon did testing the high. And if you look at what Alphabet did testing the high here, Amazon's just a little bit stronger. But if I'm listening to my own book, I got to say Google. But if you get to include the data from today, technically Amazon does look a little bit better and a little bit stronger.
Hey, include whatever data you want.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, I don't know, you just mentioned Walmart, and I actually was looking at this earlier, and maybe Adara can tell us, I don't think it's anything. The future is going to the downside, but it's been a pretty dramatic move, especially on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, Walmart all the way to the downside right there. There's the 200 period, so we're right there right now. I'm actually close to going long on this name. It's straight down $2 right now. I like Walmart. We just talked about not Costco, sorry. I was going to call up Costco. I went to Costco yesterday, by the way. $644. Bye-bye. We bought chicken. At the end of the day, I don't know. Bought some, my wife bought some powder or something, some creatine type of stuff there. I don't even know what we bought, to be honest with you. And I looked at the bill. I was sitting at home. I'm like, yep. $40, $30, $40, $50.
It's just
$70. Yeah. Oh, we bought, what did we buy? We bought some excess of, the wife made, so we didn't have time yesterday to make gnocchi, so we bought the pack of it so we bought the chicken, so she made a chicken gnocchi, soup, which has cut up celery in it. It was fantastic. Carrots and all that. But you buy the pack, you can't just buy one pack, you gotta buy 4 or 5 packs of this stuff. We've got this gnocchi sitting around.
There's never anything
wrong. Go every 3 weeks. So I go if I had time off, we'll go and chill out. But yeah, the wife goes there. We bought about 4,000 rolls of toilet paper.
You go on the weekends?
Yeah, well, we will. Not recently.
Oh, okay. Because
I've always felt like, and I know Brendan, like, I know it's really busy. There's one, I'm kind of in the middle of two Costcos. So there's a brand new one that's really super close to my house, and another one. So we kind of just try to get that all figured out.
I've never gone, but like I used to go when my dad and brother were in Florida. My brother went to school in Fort Lauderdale. My dad worked down there while I was in university. And when I was down there, I was doing the shopping at Sam's.
Yeah.
And the benefit was, like, I would never go on the weekend. Like, I was like, I think
the weekend is a little.
I wanted no part of being in Sam's Club on the weekend.
But you know what?
Like,
I'm
not. I don't like the crowds. It just
no, neither do I. I hate the crowds. I'm like feeling like a fish swimming up seas here sometimes, or upriver when you're in Costco. But the thing about Costco is now they have self-checkout.
Yeah.
So that is like a huge game changer because now you just have like, and by the way, like nothing ever scans in wrong at Costco. That's the other thing. So it's like you're just scanning.
What do you mean never?
I've never had a product scan in incorrectly.
Really?
Yeah, and I've probably spent like $100
really,
grand or more at Costco in my life, way more than that.
That's actually really good.
Never scans it
really
incorrectly. And true story.
I can't get that to work at Shoppers Drug Mart.
Forget about Canadian companies, bro. I'm talking about Costco, like real good American company.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So the employee that was checking us out, she was super great, and it says right there, she says employed since 2001. There you go. It's like this is the kind of thing that why I like Costco, why I've been buying the stock. I mean, I think that employees obviously stick around for a while.
Yep.
Probably treated pretty well there. I don't know if you guys know this, but I like Costco.
You know a good company when you have like a lot of long-term employees who only speak positively of it. But like that's I wouldn't.
The one girl was 2001, the other one was 2007.
Yeah, like that's.
And they're packing your bags for you there too.
Yeah.
Anyways, maybe it's because we spent almost $700. Who knows?
Well, I mean that too, but that's good reliability for the self-checkout because I can tell you there's a lot of places like whatever. I didn't mean to single out Shoppers Drug Mart. I just specifically here in Canada.
Yeah, but we have that scanning code of conduct, which I love. I love when things scanned in wrong. Just becomes free. That's all.
Yeah. Let's get to Adara. Take care of some business.
We do have DWTX on watch here. This is Dogwood Therapeutics. I was seeing this flagged here on X because of that pretty significant increase in volume. I'm not seeing any new news on this, but this morning they did announce here that they have this patient dosing for their trial for chemotherapy-induced neuropathy treatments to start in Q1 2025. So as of, I guess, any time now. So DWTX announcing they're going to be starting one of their trials here. That, again, came out earlier, just getting a volume pop. Now, it is worth noting, though, this stock has an extremely small float, about 722,000 shares. We are brought to you here by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader but lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you could start with as little as $20, but with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match comes in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. All you have to do is scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dara. So we did get this local breakdown here on DJT. Actually, it broke. We broke 60, got 57. It just tagged the even dollar. I want to play it back into those prior highs, but I'm going to get to a super chat here. And just for the record, we get lots of super chats, and we appreciate all our viewers, and we appreciate the super chats when we get them. Can't promise we always know, the symbols that get pointed out. In this particular case, I had to look this one up. WCM, good time. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. You're home under the weather. Hey, first things first, get yourself better. Get some rest. Drink lots of foods, all that good stuff. And hope you're enjoying things as much as you can watching from home. What about thoughts on NAK Trump trade? Seems to fit the narrative. So this is like it's a copper and gold mining company. Whoops, I'm still on the DJT chart. Copper and gold mining company here in Canada. It's actually out west. So all we can ever do is show you guys what the technicals look like, which in this particular case actually look quite good. You know, a lot of times, like we'll pull up like a small cap or a penny stock or something along these lines, and you know how bad the daily charts end up looking. This has looked distinctly different. Stair step to the upside, kind of a nice recent breakout off 60 cents here to give you like a bit of a double top at 75, looking like it wants to make another breakout at that particular price. So you've got like a little bit of a prior high support at 60 cents and then a break at 75. So it kind of gives you like, hey, if it breaks 75, you're risking 20% back into 60. And if it gets to $1, then you've got a better than 1-to-1. You know, that's not usually that bad of a setup for a penny stock. So yeah, it looks pretty decent. As far as I can't tell you anything about this company fundamentally, yeah, what do they got going on? Like, no, I can't tell you any of that. We can just look at the chart here and give you analysis of what it looks like. So every now and then we'll be able to talk about a symbol that, hey, I know a little something about them, maybe I invested in them and give you some insight. But in that particular case, the chart doesn't look bad, but that's about it. That's all I could say for NAK, Northern Dynasty Minerals.
Yeah, I think you got to watch
Sounds
out.
like
It probably is. Maybe it's antimony. I don't know. I mean, there could be some different metals.
it might
that
be
they have.
more than just gold.
Dar's going to look into some of the production.
Might be
over there
more than just
of,
gold and copper.
NAK, but again, it's a 68-cent stock. So I see.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe by posting that you get a little bit of a bump. I have no idea, but that's not the point. Good analysis there by Neil. So we'll look forward to that. That look there. Daryl will see if she can find anything on it, but that's okay. Right now, there it is, man. We'll spend a little bit of a money. I mean, it's been a money trade right here. I mean, you know, I hope Joe's got the banger over there as well, but I know he's gotten something on IBIT as it just continues to go higher. Now, we just have a small piece of this, but we're going to get another piece as it's just dancing around 107. If we're going to look at a crypto chart, I mean, I could call up XLM and Solana and all that. I mean, I think there's going to be more ETFs to come on all of these things too, right? So I don't think the story of some of these altcoins are done, and I really like some of those names, including XRP. We've been buying Solana for a long time, and then Cardano is another one that I'm interested in as well. But it looks like we're having a problem at 107.3. So this is a 15-minute chart. So it's about an hour and a bit that we've come here and not broken this 107.3. So let's just go down into a little bit of a shorter time frame. Let's go to 3-minute chart or so just to find out exactly that level, 107.251. So right there, you go back about, this is a 3-minute chart, so that's about 20, yeah, so about 2 hours or so, 107.304. So that's the level that we're looking at. That's not too far away. It looks like we are going to break that very, very soon. And when we do, we want to be watching out for IBIT going even further than where we are right now. It could be a break long. That's kind of what I wanted to look at. So if we zoom in, because we don't have that many shares left, and I don't mind putting on more here, because like resting on the trades that we have is one thing if we don't see anything, but if we do like it, then I can sort of see this as being a nice little breakout there. So 61, let's take it. That's 61.08, 61.10. That's the high. Let's just confirm this with our level 2. So yeah, so 61.08. I'm going to punch a little bit more. And then I'm just going to try to use probably this 50 period. We've been able to watch out for the 50 period for a minute. And look, it hasn't been that great. I mean, it was pretty choppy in here. But if we're going to follow it, I'm not going to hold it all the way back down here. I think the 200 period on a 1-minute chart that I use it more for like a trend changing, and we're still far ways away. It's 50 cents, but I don't think we're going to get down into there. So let's just play here a momentum line, the 50 period moving average. If we do get any dip buys, we're not going to buy that. That's for if it breaks the top and we go long, we use this as our out. So our out right now will be about 20 cents. So if we break that top of 08, as I just said, we'll take 08, we'll take 09. Then that move back is 85s. So 15 and 9, so about 25 cents worth of risk. I think that's easy to cover that up. And then by the time that breaks, this will even be higher. So it'll probably be, not probably, it will be less of a hit. So yeah, we'll just wait to see what happens with that. So far, so good there with IBIT and trying to take out some new highs there. So 61.08 is my level of concern here for IBIT. So on and so forth. So, all right, we'll put that order in, and hopefully it does get that to that level, and we'll be able to punch long. AMD is also doing some moves. We'll figure out.
AMD?
I don't know. Just showed up on the scanner, so I'll look at it. I'm not sure if it's doing moves, but we'll go find out what Adair is talking about, then maybe look at some chip names. Put some other stocks in the chat if you want us to look at them.
I think I know here why this Northern Dynasty would be viewed as a potential Trump play. And actually, when you Google this stock, one of the first recommended searches on Google is Northern Dynasty Minerals. Trump, basically what happened here is back on December 20th of 2024, so late last year, we did have the governor of Alaska, Mike Dunleavy, sending a letter here I guess, to Donald Trump here at that time, the president-elect, basically asking that he issue an Alaska-specific executive order on his first day in office to reverse what he deemed severely unfriendly resource extraction initiatives put in by the Biden administration. So this is a mining-related company here in Northern Dynasty. Of course, being able to extract minerals and mine is a very bullish look for the company. So basically, what happened here is there was a previously issued letter here to Trump while he was president-elect asking that he does issue this executive order to allow more mining in Alaska, which is where, I guess partially at least, where Northern Dynasty operates. Just be aware of that here, about 3.4 RVOL today for NAK, but I'm not seeing any evidence that this executive order has been issued, guys. Also worth noting, Bloomberg, just reporting here that Meta is planning these Oakley branded glasses, and they're also exploring some watches and earbuds. So Bloomberg reporting new glasses related updates for META. Back to you.
Okay.
Thank you for that update, Dara. I can say, the chart looked constructive on that last name, that NK. What was it called again? That NAK stock. But as a Michigan State fan, I don't know. Like if you're relying on the governor out there, Mike Dunleavy being a Duke guy, I just don't know if I can get behind that stock. And I heard that name, and the first thing I'm like, well, I know it's not Mike.
Like Golden State Warriors.
I know it's not exactly really Mike Dunleavy, but Mike Dunleavy was pretty decent. He might have made it all. He might have made an all-star team back there, but just an interesting coincidence. Because my first thought was, you never know. Sometimes former athletes,
tall dude,
go into politics, but then the second you hear it's Alaska, I'm like, yeah, there's pretty much a 0% chance of that. It wouldn't surprise me when you're like these Duke guys every now and then could look interesting. He was a solid player. I really don't like Duke, with the exception of Grant Hill. Shout out to Tamia. So we didn't get into.
We also have Cooper Flagg. Yeah. Maybe possibly being a Raptor.
The other kid, what's the? There's a point guard.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully, there's better players.
It'll come to me. I always forget. There's a really good point guard. Like it's the top two picks because the Raptors are trash this year.
Bottom five.
We're not very good. So we have a very good chance. But there's like two guys that are clear franchise players, and one of them, Cooper Flagg, is another point guard. And then it's just like there's a huge, I guess, it's Ron Harper's kid.
Yeah. I know who he is.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his first name. But and then there's one other guy.
Ron Jr.
Is it just? Yeah, it's probably just Ron Jr.
I made that up, maybe. Yeah.
No, it could be. But anyways, there's two good guys for the Raptors this year. Rigetti, we just got into. It dipped into 13, so there's a dip into 13, then the prior bar break. So, hold there, prior bar break. Let's see if we can get back into the high of the day, which is $13.55 on Rigetti. Not that it's going to do it today, but if you just look at it from a gap fill perspective, there's room on a wick basis to $14.40, and then on any real support to like $16. So you have a lot of room to go here on Rigetti. I am going to sneeze. Hopefully I can hold it a little bit here. But so we got into Rigetti to the long side on a dip buy. We grabbed the DJT on that flat bottom break. It got to one stop and now breaking back up. Prior bar top here is at the 70 level. Giving it, I don't like those even dollar stops. And I'll get to exactly why in a second. But we're giving it a few pennies past that. And if you wonder, you know what? If you wonder why, if the level's like 70 or just an even dollar, sometimes you don't like to put that as your stop. Perfect example of that was this morning. I wanted to go long on a mean revert back into Rivian at 13, and I did that thing that I say I don't do and do not like doing. I put a stop at $12.99. It then broke. These fill, this is actually to the penny of 99, and probably a lot of midpoint fills down there, and then it was an instant reversal at 13. So that's why you don't put an even dollar stop if you're trading off a level like that. Most of the times you want to give it a couple of extra pennies. Like in that case, you give it to 95 or 96, and then you're still in the trade. You don't have to take the L and then punch back in, it's fine to do it, and then you can make it back, but it's just silly not to give it a little bit more room when trading off of a level like that. So a bit of a mistake there, and that's why I don't like those even dollar stops. Rivian Millionaire, why not 88? I like 88 too. It's just anything but those even, give it a couple of extra cents sometimes so you don't get your stops run. Rohit, thank you. Another super chat in here for TEM, advice on TEM. Why do I know this symbol?
Seems familiar.
I've never traded, but this one seems familiar. Rohit, I feel like Rohit, you asked about this last week, or was it this morning on Tempest? So, I mean, I don't know. Do whatever Nancy does. It's a short answer. That's not.
Is this one of her stocks?
No, this Tempest AI is the one that she bought.
It is.
So,
it is a stock.
Yeah, no, Nancy Pelosi bought this, and that's why it's up.
It's an AI stock.
It's a silly reason to buy and sell stock, but if you go on that basis that it's up based on that disclosure, then what's going to carry it through? I always wonder, like, okay, fine, so it got the bump because everyone said that she's in it. Is there going to be a story that's going to come out? Like, where's the positive news that she's out in front of? Like, maybe that catalyst is going to come in. Like, what's going to give you a reason to buy at the 50 period right now? Like, when do they? I can't see an earnings date. I'd have to look it up. I don't see an earnings date here on my one source. I'll look up another one, but maybe it'll be like an earnings play where you wait until just before earnings and you think, hey, if it's still looking good before then, maybe that's going to be the catalyst. Because otherwise, you're just buying on the pump on the first day, and the catalyst that could be incoming, whatever the reason she bought, might be weeks or months from now. So I don't really have any kind of a reasonable time frame for something like this. Just technically, it's great at the 50 period. I just don't like following this person bought the stock, so I'm going to buy it too, kind of a play. And that's what we have here with Tempest, AI play that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I equate it no differently than upgrades and downgrades. I mean, it's
the
just
same
like
thing.
Anybody can come out. We had what we talked about, Danny Ives loving Apple at whatever the price was, and it's down 25% from there. So, I mean, quite frankly, you'd probably rather trust Nancy Pelosi than some of these analysts that are out there.
Her track record's really good.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the only
it's
thing.
Like,
it's really
other
good.
than the fact that she's Nancy Pelosi, which she is, and whether or not you believe that people in power should be able to buy stock, but they're disclosing it and they're following all the rules. So I think there needs to be something changed about that to begin with. But then you have Trump coin and you have DJT and you have a bunch of other stuff popping around too, right? So what's the difference between buying Tempest because she did or buying DJT because?
I think to me the difference is, and I don't know if this is true with Tempest, right? Like I'm speaking for myself here. I know we don't get into politics. Just speaking for myself, if you sit on a committee,
right,
or you're a lawmaker, and if you're looking at bills and you're writing bills and you're voting on bills that have a material effect on a given industry, to me, you shouldn't be able to invest in companies that would benefit from it or be adjacent to it.
Right.
If that's not the case here, then I could care less. I mean, like, whatever. Everyone should have
just pretend it's not the case, because every single person in the United States does this. It's just a matter of there's so many people that own shares. Like people on energy boards probably own ExxonMobil. And
again, I only talk about that specific circumstance. Like if she's sitting on a committee that these guys benefit or would negatively impact on some kind of a bill, and she knows that and she has that knowledge and is buying, you can prove you're buying and selling in front of that, then I have an issue with it.
Right.
Anything else, whatever. Like you have a right to invest and make a call every now and then, and if, and she seems to have a pretty good line on it. I have no idea in this particular case.
Probably the world's best investor.
If there's something coming down the pipeline, that's why I was sort of getting at with the whole catalyst thing.
What is her return? I mean, there has to be an ETF.
No, there was one.
Because she had Nvidia. Like the thing is like
there was
making all of these.
No, there was one. There was like some kind of there was somebody that was tracking this online. I just don't remember what it is. You guys will let me know what it is here. FYI.
I mean, I think we all.
Somebody said Kathy Wood's been investing in that stock too.
Right. I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's just. Obviously, I think what Neil was saying was just very, very obvious, and thanks for saying it. It's just like, if they have an impact on the decisions of the stocks that they hold, then they shouldn't be allowed to do that, and I don't think they are, which is why I'm not that worried about anything, and congratulations to anybody that was able to ride that, because it's not like we didn't know about it, right? I mean, that one is
exactly
just not just that we knew about it like from that standpoint, but I mean, like you could have bought it this morning when that news had come out, and had this whole move. Like if you are on that Nancy Pelosi sort of like, bandwagon of buying. It's
just Nance.
Nance. Okay, Nance. Well, Nancy Pelosi doing well there with the Nance ETF, I guess, but I don't know, what return is it? Oh, wow, it's a big one there.
Wow, it's done pretty well. So it's just an NANC on the Amex, and what's it actually called here? Because it's obviously not called Nance, everybody. Unusual Whale.
It's called Unusual Whales.
Subversive Democratic Trading.
So when did here's a daily chart on it. Let's just go to a weekly chart. Oopsies. Let's go to a
that's so
weekly
good.
chart and just to see
that's
right now
awesome.
how it's dummying our portfolios most likely. Look at this.
It's really good.
I mean, it's opened at 23, 24, which isn't that long ago. It's March of 23, and now it's at $40. So it's nice, man. Definitely outpacing the market, that is for sure. So nice. Well, I guess it is. I don't know. This is from March of 2023. We could probably find out the percentage that this is up. So this looks like at the very bottom there, let's just say the second week in March, it was $23. It's now 40. So just under a double since March of 23. So we can look to see how much or how little it is outpacing the actual index. All right, Adair, what up?
Oh, worth noting here, this is not the only catalyst on TEM, though I do want to point out it actually got a lot of this early interest because of Nancy Pelosi's involvement at 8:30 a.m. here. So that would be around this candle here. So nothing super significant here at 8:30. Tempest did announce that they've launched their Olivia AI-enabled personal health concierge app nationally. So launching here, its AI-enabled personal health app is TEM. Again here, that is not a ton of volume on this. It does seem like the initial interest was driven by Nancy Pelosi's involvement, but this catalyst is notable. And it is worth noting here the 17.8% short float for TEM that did IPO last year, guys. Back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, eight. Yeah, that just gives a little more juice to it. That short float. I should have. Thank you for mentioning that, Derek. 'Cause I'm staring right at it. When I look for the earnings, I kind of glossed over the 18% short float, which does look very, very juicy. Just a couple of notes here. Walgreens, we got that. We reloaded it in front of. We had it at 11. We had it in front of VWAP here, but there was whatever was going on at 1094, so we added to it at 92, got some out there when it tagged 85, but then just put the stop. The second it broke out that 94, where whoever was doing this was done, I just punched out. Or, well, I didn't punch out. We had a stop order that punched us out. And now it's back at VWAP, so we'll get away from this. I think Walgreens is still setting up decently for a continuation trade, even tomorrow. So you had the big, I mean, that candle was right at the close. Last 15 minutes on Friday, and then a continuation today. So as long as it holds, I mean, heck, underneath 1150, let alone 1120, probably looking for another stair-step day on Walgreens. This was as I said, like this was kind of the missed opportunity for me. And I've said it before, and it's just sometimes for this trade in particular, you just have to be in the pre-market. And I think I'm finding that more and more is you keep thinking that you're going to get that trade that's going to set up, because you see it happen on big caps all the time. Like usually there's a bunch of liquidity inside the range in the first few minutes, but these smaller names, sometimes they don't give you that chance. It goes down, and then you're either already sitting in the short or you're taking the break at the low of the day. So probably need to sit in this kind of a trade in the pre-market and be willing to sort of work your way slowly into it. At least that way you have a piece. Even if you never get a full position, at least you're in it at some point. Rigetti just made another push higher. It gets relentless. And I get it. It's not going to move $4 like it did in the pre-market. Or sorry, from the pre-market lows, I should say, in the first 20 minutes of trade. Like if you bought this when you sat down this morning, depending on when you sit down, to 10 o'clock, actually check that, 9:48, this was moving $4. Now you're just moving like 2 or 3 percentage points when the stock is at 36% up. So it's just a 13 hole where we got teens. Now it's playing into a triple top off 1350. So Rigetti, once again, super strong name. It just continues to go higher and higher and higher. Hitting home runs on Rigetti like Anthony Santander is going to do for the Toronto Blue Jays. There's nothing like coming in second fiddle so that you can overspend on a one-dimensional player. I, for one, am a very happy Blue Jays season ticket holder. I don't need Roki Sasaki. The Dodgers can have everybody that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter at all.
That's too bad about the Jays. Okay, so Tesla's pumping. Okay, we can look at it. I just want to give a quick little update here to some of the trades that I'm in, because I don't know what's going to happen. 107 and change, so we're at 325 right now. I'm just getting out. The futures are absolute barcoding. I guess I don't know. I mean, it's not like significant earnings coming tonight. We have UAL, we have Netflix, we have Interactive Brokers, we have STX, we have Capital One. So
IBKR is actually a pretty
it's
good
not like
stock.
it's huge or anything like that. IBKR is great stock. But I'm just going to get out now. We have a very, very small piece left. If we break that bottom, we gone on this one. And then also kind of the same logic here with IBIT. If it wants to go, great. We'll be here. We'll have it. Everything's kosher. But at the end of the day, I'll take it if it breaks. If it doesn't, I need to get out. So we just got more and more out. We are almost flat now on IBIT. I mean, in fact, oops, almost pushed way too many shares there. All right, so we'll get another piece out right now at 99. We're going long on a breakthrough 10. So we're here. If it goes, great. 61.10. That would be the long sort of take that I have as an idea trade. So that will be what we're doing right there for that. So it's IBIT, and hopefully it's going to be a little bit of a downside mover. And then we can get long if you want to get long on the 200. But hey, look, if it rips, we're taking that 61.10 out. Yeah, Netflix. I mean, it's an 8% implied move. So if you're going to add on here 8%, it's not like a huge move, but could still go. People asking if it breaks 1,000. I think something special would have to happen for it to break 1,000. But I do think that it could also announce a split. So if that happens, that will give it the juice probably to take that 1,000 mark. And if and when it does, then just giddy up on this one. I'm already hella long Netflix, and we really like this stock. So I've liked it. I'm not hella long. It's not one of my like bigger positions, but we are long the name and we do like it. So Netflix coming in hot tonight with a big earnings report. What are they expecting, you might say? Well, Sean, that's a good question. So let's get it for you. Estimated revenue, $10.15 billion. EPS of $4.19. Is
that it?
So yeah, just a little 10 billy there.
That's all
for them. So we'll see what happens with Netflix. I still like it. Adara did put out a chart for Netflix earnings or for revenue. I believe there it was right there, annual revenue. So we'll see as this continues to climb. I mean, we're standing in front of this stock. No, thank you. As we go even higher and higher. So we'll see what that net annual looks like as we get Q4. So we'll figure that out. I think it's going to be a little bit higher than 35. That's the $35 mark. Again, it's $10 billion. $4 per share on the quarter, not on the year. That's what's expected. So I really, again, like the stock. Could there be some currency sort of headwinds, maybe with the strength of the US dollar? But I don't know if that's going to be sort of a note there for them. The fact that we're under the 50, I just like it that you're not at the top. Like, you know, if Google misses or Amazon miss and you're already at the top, you can fall down that 10%. Well, this name's already fallen from 940 down to 820. It already did its 10% move down. And if you didn't buy that 10% dip, well, now you got to give 3 or 4% back and then possibly here into the close, into what I think could be a decent runner. I don't know about into the close. I shouldn't have said that, but I just mean like, as we close here today, it's starting to get a little hot. Obviously, the market starts to bid up here. It's going to be the first of the bigger names as far as tech is concerned. Yeah, so we'll wait to see what it does. Netflix, again, I like it. I don't know about the gaming division that they have. I don't know if there's anything going on there, but again, the live, I like it. Squid Game 2, I don't know how popular that was, but I know a lot of people watched it. So we'll just have to wait to see. I like it.
The thing is, a ton of people are going to watch Squid Game whether it's good or not.
Right.
I think that's.
But did it?
And that's all you need. I think.
Subscribers.
I mean, we'll have to see when the numbers come out. But I mean, ultimately, they left on a pretty good cliffhanger. I don't know if you watched it, right?
I watched it,
yeah. I mean, they left on a pretty good cliffhanger. So I think they're going to capture a bunch of people in there. I mean, the concern I have, it's still a little bit pricey. The stocks that goes to your point, like from a PE perspective, from a forward perspective, like it's still a little bit pricey, which could bode a little bit negatively. And you don't have the same, like you were saying with Google and Amazon, that buffer, right, of support. So I think you could be entering a dip zone for them. There's a little bit of risk in getting frothy up there on Netflix. Just a couple of things here. I saw, hey, go Netflix in the chat. Can Apple get above 222 before closing? Well, Apple is back to VWAP. And I'll tell you, I was staring this one down when it got to VWAP. I don't know about staring it down, but I got the level 2 up and was kind of watching it pull back in because we were shorting it off VWAP before, scalping into it. But then the way that it's trading is just a little bit stronger than, I don't know, like it just feels stronger than it did this morning. And then even in the afternoon, we were shorting into VWAP. So it's a pretty strong bounce back, still down 3.5 points. But I'm staying away from that VWAP short. Unless it wants to abjectly fail a second time under VWAP, I'm just going to keep it a little bit tight to the vest there. Oh, I just saw someone messaging about the gaming. I can tell you I've never played one of those games. And on top of that, when we log in and my daughter sees the games, she's never been like, ooh, this is interesting. Daddy, can I play that, or can we play that? So now there's something about it doesn't seem that appealing. And you guys let me know, like, are they getting any traction? Is anyone playing those games on Netflix? Because I can tell you, I love Netflix, and I've never once felt like, oh, this would be fun to go ahead and do. Not that I have that much gaming time, is what it is. But Tesla's making a real move. Forget about Apple for a minute here. Tesla just went 420 to 423 here and starting to pick up a little steam. We've seen this before at 330 on Tesla, and I don't wonder, like, if this is that past 3 o'clock buyer, generally speaking, on a 3-minute chart or anything other than a 1 minute, like, you see the buying, and then you just start seeing it sustain. So if it does like another one of these candles, usually it's just to try to join it until 350 kind of play. So we'll give it did one of these fake outs before, like the first candle was parabolic, and if you just bought the top, it didn't do that sustained buying there on Tesla. I can find an example of it in the afternoon. Like, it looks something like this in the afternoon, or like that, where you get like successive ones where they're, you know, holding the prior bar low. It did it here back on like the second. So there's been many times that this Tesla buying in the close has happened. You just never want to buy that first candle. Sometimes it can be a trap.
Yeah, we hit the great short last day on the close. Wondering if it's just going to be a long. We've seen that Tesla sort of come into the close many times. Oh, yeah. Wow, Roblox is $66, man. Man, did we nail that Roblox call, guys. That was just such a good trade there. RBLX. Wow, that's $66. I still own a piece of this. I wish we were in a little bit more. We had bought this in the spring, holding it for the summer, and then it just kept on sort of taking out the highs there. Look at Roblox. I mean, what a stock. What a stock. As that just keeps on going upside. Ooh, man, some plays are easy, man. Oh, SoFi, again, you know, what? I still have everything on SoFi, man. Like, my whole account on SoFi. I think I'm still long like $12 or $13. I didn't buy anything down into here. I was like, oh, I'm dead on SoFi, whatever. We'll just let it sit there. But a huge move upside. I don't know. 13 doesn't make any sense. I'm probably stuck somewhere around here, 9s or 10s, 11s, I don't know. But anyways, I'll double check that for you guys tomorrow, no doubt. But right now, as you can see, it is a nice little upside move here for SoFi, and just continuing going, man. $13 up to 17. Like, this isn't a straight line. I mean, this $13 goes back to January 14th. I mean, I know Biden put out some relief there. I don't know what it was. $100 billion or more, much more than that, I would guess, on debt relief for student loans. So there it goes to the upside there. It looks like SoFi doesn't want to stop anytime soon. And yeah, just continue it, man. Congratulations. What's up to Oscarito? I'm not going to forget about you in the chat earlier on in the morning. You had told me, even before I wrote this thing, you know, you're like, watch out for 17 longs. I got my eye on you, Oscarito. You nailed that one. Nice break there on the top side. Like, that's just a great break. We generally have stuff like that. Good little level there, and if you got it, then you got it good, because SoFi, huge move right there to the upside today. And I was even saying, like, this might be something to cash out, up that 10 points. Good level. Yeah. They don't report till later, I don't believe either. I think we looked this up before. Here, I can just quickly double check on the Benzinga Pro platform. But I would, whenever you're at 18, you always want to sort of zoom out.
Next week too.
Oh, are they next week? Okay, so here's SoFi right there. Earnings calendar, the 27th. Okay, even faster than everybody else, because I guess bank stocks has already happened. But anyways, a lot of the newer stocks, I always feel like they're reporting later. But SoFi right in the middle, coming through next week. Looks like they're going to beat, right? But it does sell off, and I have to go back and chart this. Generally sells off into earnings. So I don't want to make this like an all-clear home run to go long after earnings. So not into earnings, sorry. After earnings, generally we can get some bump downs. I can go find out where that is and what those stats are. But yeah, SoFi really kicking. And then DraftKings, for me was, we dip bought Uber. We've talked about that. Uber today is still having problems at 70. I think it was $67 today or so. But DKNG, man, that one, siren that one up, because this has been a stock that we've been talking about. I like the name, I like the stock, but did not dip buy into that $36 level. Look how good that was, right into there. And again, close your eyes and buy the best stocks and get rewarded. Nice move upside there for DraftKings. So yeah, I like that name. And let's just quickly look at Uber here for 20 seconds or so, Ramin. And we'll have a quick little look there. the wink as we go. Nice move up there for Uber. Really great off $60. And we don't even see it here on the 5-minute chart. But as you go, Uber holding that bottom. So I think about Uber when I think about DraftKings because some of those levels were pretty key. That came right in. And right on note there, when you're looking at levels, there's no need to look any further than trying to grab them off e-signals. So, make sure you do scan that QR code below. Not these charts, but these charts for sure. We use all the time on e-signal weekly charts, back testing, scanning, get those algos going. You can code with e-signal as well. Download go over to the broker side. Over 50 apps plus, I think they say, in the App Store there. There's 50 plus brokers, my bad, there that you can connect with. Do like we do, right? It's really easy when you have your trading platform connected with your charting platform. That's how me and Neil trade, and I think it's very important. Also, tick charts, minute charts, and all that available on what I consider one of the best charting platforms, eSignal. Scan that QR code there. And then again, your charting might not give you pink sheets, which would be the OTC markets, or may not give you the Hang Seng or Japanese markets. eSignal has them all. Whether or not you need Forex or whatever, all in one place. Sign up with eSignal. It's an entitlement-based process, and you can just pay for whatever quotes you want. Don't get the unnecessary ones. Pay for look, if you never trade NASDAQ, you don't have to pay them $30 a month or whatever it is for those entitlements, right? So stick with eSignal, very reliable, the best. And I know, like, if my eSignal's ever down, then I know something's wrong with the internet because it's never the eSignal platform.
Or the market has an issue.
Or the market has an issue.
Which,
the market has issues every day, and then the issue is that it doesn't go up when I get long, and it also doesn't go down when I get short, except for today, where the TQs was a very, very nice trade.
Actually, I think the reliability, remember all the times back in the day you'd be like, such and such is declaring self-help against a certain gateway?
Yes.
We would get that, I'd swear it'd be like once a month, it'd be a major gateway in the market where all of a sudden like no one's routing to it or because there's an issue. That just doesn't happen.
Get ready for a complete market freeze up now.
I know. Well, I'm just saying it doesn't happen very much. Like the reliability of quotes and executions is fantastic. That said, eSignal does sort of stand out. And the other thing that you get is you have the ability to see the imbalance locator. So if you're looking at 10 minutes or 12 minutes from now, the imbalances are going to come through. Now we have it piped into our platform here at Real Trading, so we can show it to you live. But if you add eSignal, it's just a simple feature you can turn on as well. There's not much to report, but obviously I will show it to you guys here. Enbridge is an early look of a sell of 2 million. Whatever Kim, K-I-M, whatever that is an early look imbalance of 1.9 million. I don't know that name. And then you got another one here, VICI, as a 1.2 sell. Yeah, may he rest in peace, Kimball's.
Well, he passed away?
Kimball's dead, isn't he?
Oh, a while ago? Okay, I just remember.
Yeah,
I hated watching those videos, man. I actually hate watching, like, people just get absolutely beat up. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
I hate that.
Wow, that was that long. Oh, my goodness.
I don't even, like, now. I used to watch those, like,
Rock'em.
8 years ago. Yeah, now that you mention it.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I don't even like watching those anymore either. It's like watching those old hits in the NFL. It's like, oh, great, that guy just got CTE. Like, why would I, like, honestly, like, why am I going to watch somebody just punch somebody while playing hockey directly in the face an unlimited amount of times until the referee comes in to it? That's not, I mean, the same thing's true of football. Like, call me, like, weak or anything like that. But I think almost all quarterbacks, to solve this, like, Mahomes problem and all that, I almost think quarterbacks should be forced to wear the Guardian.
They should all have
hat. So that way, if you're running around, acting as if you're a runner, and then sliding literally in the last second so you can grab that 15-yard penalty, you should be wearing one of those Guardian caps.
Mahomes is the worst at this.
Mahomes
goes, he specifically goes to the sideline,
there was that one example,
knowing, but he's done it a million times. He's going right to the sideline. No, it's smart. He's totally playing the rule, and he goes right to that sideline, knowing the defender has to, because they know if you breathe on him, they're going to throw a flag, and he can go there, and then he can, when you slow up, he then sidesteps you and gets another 10 yards on the sideline. And I grant that. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I kind of wish Josh did that more. Josh Allen on the Bills. But Josh has that I'm going to run over you mentality where it's just some guys, it's just they're not built that way.
And no rings.
Well, it's true. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
I wish Josh did the same thing more often because I feel like he could get a bunch of cheaper. He'll embellish.
Let's see what happens.
He'll embellish a hit. Josh Allen will embellish a big hit when he's like rolling out to the right or like when it's in the pocket. But that sideline play, it's a free extra 5 yards that any quarterback can take anytime they want. And you should look to advantage to take the rules. Like, I can wax poetic about how much I hate seeing it. But the truth be told, if you're trying to win, there's a saying in baseball, If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And it doesn't mean literally cheat like the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
You know, but what it does mean is use the rules to your advantage. And if you're not willing to do that, then, you know, consider playing a different game. The rules are there, and you're not breaking them. You know, the New England Patriots did that for a long time. I think they got to respect that for sure. And we'll trade for food. We'll trade for food there. We need another Palomalu in the league. I love that name, We'll Trade for Food. Yeah, Troy Polamalu was he was a one-of-a-kind player.
Yeah,
That's one of the most fun defenders to watch of all time. Bitcoin is going ham. That's what's going on right now.
Hard to
it's
dispute that.
Zed, BTC, what's going on. It's going ham. The other thing, I just saw it. Where is it? Ryan Felipe.
What's up,
we appreciate all of our viewers. Love you all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe.
Yeah.
And you know it's hard for me to say that when I'm watching you tell me that Jaden Daniels is better than Josh Allen. So that's how much we love our viewers.
That's just not true, though.
Because that's just.
If people could be homers, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just not right. Obviously,
May eventually
you're a
be.
Washington fan.
I don't know.
Anything could happen. So just very quickly, Rigetti, I put this in the chat a couple times. The trend from 13 to the high break, so this is 13 to the high. There's your high or low. I'm just holding on for this trend line. So I'm adjusting it manually. Like every time it closes a new bar, I'm kind of having to move it by 5 cents or so. Why do I still have, all right, I got to clean up some stop orders apparently. Like I had, yeah, that's weird. Like I had some stops from this morning, the stocks I never even got into, which happens. That said, I mean, a stop order to cover a position that I don't have is not going to be an issue, but we'll just clean it up. So if we break this trend line, I'm getting out. Otherwise, we're holding for the 14 level. And 14 is a round number, but it's also go back to the 8th, gap fill, open, flush, I guess the best way to call it. It dropped 14 in several candles to $10 on Rigetti. So 14 is a bit of a resistance level and a round number. So that dip buy in Rigetti, either it holds the trend or we get our 14 look. With only 7 minutes to go till the imbalances, we'll see if there's anything out there that comes out big. That'd be nice. Real Knobberts in the chat.
Nice.
We are twins. I love it. I absolutely love it. Although I still think the best viewer name that we've ever had in this chat was Sharif's mom. Literally, the person's name in the chat was Sharif's mom, not his actual mom. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
We do have here, also I'm just seeing a drop here in some of these crypto names, so I'll take a look at that in a second. Just worth noting here, though, we do have a new graphic here from TTV Research. We're really hard at work over here on some content for you guys. I wanted to put this one out now right away because we actually have UAL earnings tonight. So with that in mind, here are some of the year-over-year changes here for some of these airlines, including UAL, AAL, LUV, and JBLU over the last 4 quarters. As you can see, unlike airlines or planes, these are not all headed straight to the upside. There's a lot of turbulence in some of these charts. So check this out here. We actually have JBlue having decreases in revenue for 3 of the last 4 quarters. So definitely make sure to give that a look on X TTV Research. Back to you.
Dara, those airline charts are absolute insanity.
So I just want to talk about, the airlines look nuts. We'll get UAL, DAL. I mean, they've all been sky high. Look, we talked about getting out of this, and I can't really talk anymore. Like when we had the opportunity to get out and then just hold like 2%, we did that and we talked about that. And I said like the risk, well now I guess I can cancel my upside trade right there. We were gonna buy the high of the day if it went there, but it didn't. So we cashed out. You know, like if I don't have all of these outs up here while still waiting to get longer, you know, it's just that's what day trading is all about. It's about making decisions, getting in, getting out. We will have I will have one red name today. And it's going to be Tesla, and it's going to be a disaster as Tesla goes all the way upside. Like, wow, I think we were right about buying it. It's just way too early. And, you know, we were not right. I mean, you're only right when you make the trade, and obviously you're really wrong there. To have held it would have been fine. That's initially what I was trying to do in here. Like we had $3, $4, $5 winners, and we've had $20 on this before. So it's not like, you know, me being able to hold this is out of the pocket. It's not. We've done it before, but then just that last stop out, I just like too many times. Like we got stopped out there when it broke the bottom. Then we got stopped out there when it broke the bottom of 415. Then we got stopped out there when it broke that past bottom. Then it breaks the bottom again and we get stopped out. Then there's the bottom and it breaks one more time. So it's like, at some point, and I just did a video about staying disciplined and things like that, you have to stay disciplined. And that's not that. Like if I just keep on holding till the bottom breaks, like 4 or 5 times in a row, it's just too much. So we did take too big of an L on that. But at the end of the day, you know, we learn from those mistakes and we just move on. It just means I'm going to have a huge day tomorrow. So we'll see what winds up happening, hopefully. What's up, Adair?
Just be aware here of crypto. We had the big drop here in MSTR in tandem, of course, with Bitcoin, BTC. Basically, what I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing any news about the Bitcoin reserve, but we know that's what we were really looking forward to, right? Bitcoin was not mentioned during Trump's inaugural speech. And what it could be here, I have 2 more Trump-related reports coming through in the last 5 or so minutes. Basically, Washington Post reporting that Trump is signaling plans for 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian goods starting February 1st. And then also here, New York Post reporting that he's going to be visiting North Carolina and California as of Friday. Also some reports here about some other programs. But basically, from what I can tell, it seems like investor sentiment is waning in terms of the likelihood of getting an executive order on Bitcoin as promised, because we've gone here now 2 days of the Trump administration and no executive orders on the crypto space as of yet. That is my interpretation of some of these events here, but just keep an eye here on these crypto names. Also worth noting, as mentioned earlier, the new SEC chair here, or I guess acting SEC chair, Mark Ueda, actually launching a crypto task force to try to increase regulations. So actually that was viewed as a little bit bullish for crypto. We'll have to wait and see what happens here, guys. Back to you.
Right.
Thank you very much, Adara, for that. And yeah, 100% true. There's I got to ask, it's Cure 12. You were backwards on Rigetti. I can tell you with 99.9% certainty that no one's been bearish on Rigetti the last couple of sessions on the desk, or I probably even speak for the midday guys. Like I think not all quantum names are going to be alike today, but QBTS and QUBT and what's the other one? IonQ, they're all literally half the move of Rigetti today. So like I don't know, maybe it's somebody in the chat that you're responding to, but I've moved. It's a different trail now. 2 minutes ago, with the imbalances coming in, you're getting to the end of the day, you're almost at the 14 level, but with this new high break, it's now got distinct higher lows and a steeper trend line. So I've moved the stop up to 13.75. So we got the dip buy in front of 13, got 16.5 as an average price, stop out underneath the even dollar, and so it's about 17 cents worth of risk when you factor that in, and we're able to scalp some at the 1-to-1 and just above, and now we're trying to hold for this 14 level break, but it is getting to the end of the day there. And we got a super chat as well. Ryan, thank you very much, Ryan Ward, for the super chat. Can I get your thoughts on V1? It's a new active AI that's just released an Android app. It's already aped by DaVinci. Can I get your thoughts? I don't have any thoughts, and I do not know about it. We appreciate your super chat, but I can't wax poetic on something that I do not have knowledge about. So appreciate your super chat. We're always good for discussion here. Analyze any stock that you want or take a look at something. But that is not one that I am familiar with. There's also earnings pre-market, by the way, and a bit of a bellwether stock. I think a stock which is under some pressure, and it's not usually tradable. Well, that's not the word. It's not usually a stock that you would day trade. It's, of course, obviously tradable every single day. Procter & Gamble reports tomorrow morning, and they have not looked very good. The reason I bring it up is if something bad happens on Procter, when you go back to those, like this is here back in November at 160, and then you go back into that August low, that's just at the 160 level. It is a stone's throw away from flat bottom breaking this. And this is probably the only time a year, 4 times a year, that you look at Procter & Gamble as a day trade. I think, I'm probably not looking for, I don't think I'd trade it if it's up. I'm probably only trading Procter tomorrow if it's down. When I look at that chart, if it's down and flat bottom breaking, that's been a stock which hasn't been performing all that well recently. And it's not just about aftermarket, pre-market earnings as well matter, as it is now 350. So imbalances just hit. Nvidia 3.3 million to the sell side, whoosh. Pfizer 2.5 to the sell side, Intel, who cares, 1.4, GDX 1.9 million to the sell side, TLT's a 1 million sell as well, Walmart 1 million to the buy. So Nvidia would be the biggest one on that list. HBAN, why do I know that stock? HBAN, 2.7 million. Huntington, that's kind of a random buy imbalance on a stock that's only done 12 million shares, but it's not moving. So HBAN, significant imbalance relative to its volume, 2.6 million into 12 million, but not a heck of a lot of movement there for HBAN. Yeah, but that NVIDIA 3 million sell side.
All right. Yeah, we took advantage of, well, not advantage of anything, but we got out there on the close there as we look at these imbalances. I just saw the NVIDIA sells, like, let's just get out of these TQs. So there it is, man. It's a big trade, obviously, as we bought that bottom dip right there in the NASDAQ, only to have it go all the way up, which was good. Like, I think we had some 4 good outs up there. And as we let it sort of just get back up. I mean, I like the trade, right? All right, so IBIT, I might as well just get out now as well on that one if we can offer some 42s there, unable to get out of IBIT. And again, this is another banger there. No mistakes on IBIT whatsoever. I mean, we bought the dip all day. And when you like a stock, you like a stock, that's for sure, right? And so being able to do that was a good one there today. Yeah, look, man, I mean, I know no one really, Neil has some quantum there. It's not going to be, it's a good trade on Rigetti, but we'll try to trade it a little bit more there tomorrow. But that's just like some of you guys were asking about it, and I know Neil just covered it. So that's Rigetti. I didn't really see them on the imbalances. But other than that, let's see where Palantir is trying to finish, $73. So still relatively high for Palantir, up that 2%. We'll see if it can hold out. Hope that it gets even going even more on Palantir and breaks through 73.50 at some point. Watch out for tomorrow. I mean, if this market can open up hot, we're still up that 0.5%. So I still don't mind where we are right now on the market. It's holding out okay. I mean, here's the NASDAQ. We bounced off that 21.5, which was really nice. It kind of looks, trying to break that trend, right? I mean, if you sort of draw it right now, you've broken it. We should be down here if we're still trying to be negative, but instead we really respected that 50-period moving average. So I would say we're going to try to stay positive until we even get below now. Forget about 21,500. What about 21,600? 100 handles higher than that. This might be the area to look out for tomorrow, as we'll watch out, and we'll watch out for some trades there happening on the NASDAQ. So again, still like the long. We have Netflix coming out after earnings, or tonight after hours. The time that I have written down for Netflix,
I'm going to say
is 4.
Yeah, they were
right on.
Right.
UAL 4, IBKR 4, STX 405, Capital One 405. So it's going to be an active one. I'll switch over and get over there in just a minute. Seagate, $100 name will be coming through as well. So it should be good. We'll watch Tesla into the close, 420. Nice little move to the downside here on Tesla.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't drop anything important over there. No, but the quantum names made a big move, but I got to acknowledge a few people mentioned SOUN today, and I know we didn't get to it, so I'm going to rectify that in a quick second. But I said we'd get out if it got to 14. I just covered at 13.95. The imbalances, there were no quantum name. I'm a little surprised not a single one of those quantum names showed up even for a little bit, with the exception of, like, lo and behold, like the one that I've said looks the weakest today is a buy imbalance, and that's D-Wave. Like 800,000 imbalance on QBTS. I didn't see any of like Rigetti. I didn't see there. I didn't see IonQ. I didn't see QUBT. But it's QBTS that actually catches a bid and going through the high of the day. I'm not touching. It's 354. I'm not touching it with the 10-foot pole. But I am going to reiterate, of all of that group of 4 quantum names, this is the one that to me sets up as the weakest of the bunch. Like when you're breaking out levels and filling in gaps and all that stuff, this has yet to get to last week's top or even through that first resistance at 675. So it feels a little bit weaker than the rest, but Rigetti, super strong. And then SOUN, look, they've been a runner all day long, so shout out to everyone that was on it for sure. Would I pick these over what are you going to do? Like Rigetti is up like 40% or something. But SOUN, 20%, look at this 15-minute chart. This is what you guys are waxing quite a bit. Not a single red candle this afternoon on SOUN and a clean breakaway from Friday's high. Like technically, that's gold. Like this is Friday's high. It not only broke out early, you then supported the prior week high. And it's just one of these, gets to the 50-period moving average and makes a bounce. So it's not a quantum name, but that's what the quantum names did too. Like they pulled back after a hefty run, right back into that 50. So at 355, did NVIDIA pair off? Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah, I was looking to see Apple. Apple was the one that I'm going to go over to the desk. Apple was really ripping here into the close. It does have a buy and bounce that stays. So watch out. This could get excited here into the close even further up as Apple was bad, man. It was down to 319 and change right down there, 219, sorry, and change. As Apple, probably 319, maybe later this year, we'll see. But there it goes, nice move back up to the upside right there, looking to take out basically all the levels. So wiping out what happened all day and then just trying to get back to this level. So look, we can't ignore what happened, but it is making its way back now to the upside. AAPL continuing to work on the long, and what a long it's been off 221.50, still going. Apple, and again, a great trade. You had to have it, but Apple still trying to work out. Palantir, we talked about where that's closing. IBIT, we did get out of that. That was, again, number one trade of the day is IBIT for me, followed by TQQs. And, that's really about it, man. I don't know. It's been a good one. We screwed up on Tesla, but, we'll get that back for sure. We just went long, just like Apple. It's starting to cover up some of those mistakes as well. So, yeah, what's a pretty good day? And you guys always want to know if we're green or red. I'll be red today because of Tesla. And that's just being honest with you. And on that note, we're going to go back to the desk and get ready to rock and roll. 3:57 right now. So I'm going to shut this all down and get ready. It's going to be Netflix coming up there at the close. So, yeah. All right, not too bad there. Neil will wrap it up, and we'll go over to the desk now.
Absolutely. Not a heck of a lot to look at with those imbalances at the close here.
Good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And again, it's a bunch of earnings. I actually didn't see that Seagate's going to be in there, and then you got some aftermarket names as well. So, stick around. I was actually even just saying, I know we have Brian Shannon coming on tonight, but one interesting to look at, because we were talking specifically about those quantum names, I even just mentioned this one to Obi, probably worth, if you've got like an anchored, this is not, it's still SOUN. If you're looking at Rigetti, if you're looking at QBTS or any of those names, like an anchored VWAP, specifically from Jensen's comments, might not be a bad idea when he tanked that entire market, just to give you an extra level. And again, I don't know what that's going to look like, and we don't have anchored on this platform here, but I think that could be an interesting thing to look at with only a couple of minutes to go here. You're now 42% to the upside. Obviously, it is what it is. Like, Rigetti's been a pretty clean one for me this morning, all day today. Walgreens was, but sometimes it's one of these days, right? Like, for me, Walgreens was meant to be a short up here. So there's just a 0% chance that, when you get like an 1110 to 1080 trade, that's fine, and that's a winning trade. It's a couple percentage points, but it's not the same as getting the big one out there. So you've got to try to trade apples to apples. Like, I know there is a 0% chance that this short, when I'm looking short in Walgreens up here, should have anything to do with when I'm trading Tesla and thinking it can move $5, $10. No, like that's literally two trades that should not be marked against each other, because one has much bigger potential. Like, taking a reversion trade on Tesla when it's moved like this is more akin to taking Walgreens when it's up here. So I know that I'll never make, well, I shouldn't say never, you never want to say never, but I'm very unlikely to make as much on a Walgreens trade unless I'm getting this, as I will take a shot on a Tesla when it does or doesn't work. But there's still some big earnings to get here. I'm really hoping that Netflix, I don't want to, whatever, I probably made too many incorrect predictions on Netflix and them splitting to try to hope for it again here today. That's the one thing that I care about outside of the numbers for Netflix. Are you going to give us a split finally? That would make it a much more exciting day trade. For us as day traders, it's great. I think it's great for the viewers and anyone looking at options. Of course, if you get a sign, it's a heck of a lot cheaper on you, which puts a lot more interest in the name and just more trading action in and around it. So about 20 seconds to go here. I have eyeballs on Netflix just because it's supposed to come out at 4 o'clock. Now, whether or not that's going to be exactly at 4, so going to make sure we have this one up for you as Adara brings you on home in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it, Adara. So the big one, okay, Netflix is obviously already out. I didn't hear it, but $925. Netflix just went $60 to the upside. Now $930 is the top. Already, this is why we say don't trade in the aftermarket, because I just saw a 930 print and then an 880 bid on my level 2. It's right back up to the highs, but that initial dip was heavy. I actually saw it back in printing some underneath that 900. So big move up on Netflix here. We'll try to get you right on. You guys give me the thumbs up when you are ready, because I can't really hear the numbers coming through my head. But Netflix, 9% to the upside, now through $940 and continuing to go higher as an absolute monster runner here on Netflix. It's just flying. Let's see if I can get some of those numbers to you guys. 4.27 EPS to 418, beat on the top. It's actually a revenue, barely a beat on revenue, but they like it anyways. Let's get on to the desk. It's going to be a wild one. You've got Sean, you've got Adara, you've got Netflix earnings, and Brian Shannon. Let's go.
All right, Adara, let's go. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Good, thank you, Fabian.
Yeah.
Works perfectly now. Okay, so Netflix is out. We have IBKR out. We have UAL out. Everybody's out right now. There goes Netflix right now. It's a banger. You guys asked about it. We made the call. We stuck our neck out, said long. There goes Netflix. Let's go. Those of you that are here, man, it's Trader TV Sean's prediction time. That was a good one there on Netflix. Let's see if it holds it.
Yeah.
Good trade so far to the upside. EPS 427 beats 419. Sales beater right there. Big bang move there for Netflix. We'll go over there in a second. Quickly, UAL, nice move on the upside as well. We'll get these numbers for you. They're out. IBKR as well, trying to come upside. Let's see where they're going. IBKR, bang it out. That's Trey's, man. 3 for 3 right now as we're hitting home runs and dropping threes right now. Nice move. Netflix up. IBKR up. UAL up. Netflix is really starting to take off now. Up to 960. What does that look like on a daily chart right now? Starting to go. There it is. We called this, baby. It's new all-time highs for Netflix as we get excited as it starts to go just a little bit higher. Adara, give us the numbers.
Here's the thing with Netflix. They did beat here earnings per share, $4.27 versus $4.19 expected. I was seeing a couple different numbers here for sales versus estimates, but the one I'm mostly seeing circulated around here is $10.247 billion in sales, above estimates of $10.114 billion. They also had a 15.9% year-over-year increase in their global streaming paid memberships. They had $18.91 million here in streaming net ads. Sorry, not dollars. $18.91 million in streaming net ads versus $9.6 million expected. So they almost doubled that. The one thing I did hear, though, and I'm not seeing this circulated, I just heard it in my ear, it sounds like they actually lowered their revenue and EPS guidance for Q1 2025. That is crucial. I've not seen that confirmed, but again, hearing as of right now, they did lower their guidance there. Okay, actually, I am seeing it confirmed now. They did, in fact, lower that guidance. So Q1 earnings of $5.58 per share versus $5.98 expected, and then revenue of $10.416 billion versus $10.489 billion expected. UAL here coming through as well. It's basically reporting $3.26 here earnings per share versus $2.99 expected. Sales of $14.7 billion versus $14.4 billion expected. They beat across the board.
All right, let's go, man. A lot of numbers there. We'll hit that calculation button. I would say shout out to Mr. Praise in here. Where was it? I just had it. He said this Netflix may pay, I don't know where it was, for the wedding. Okay, so I just want to say, whenever I see comments like that in the chat, welcome to the chat. You're now rocking with the best of us, man. Adara and I will give you these earnings. Neil will be back tomorrow with, I don't know, there's probably big earnings all week, right? Coming through. But whenever I hear comments like that, make sure that you take some profit. I don't know if you could trade after hours on your account, but again, we're at all-time highs right now. Netflix will get upgraded tomorrow. There'll be lots more coming. I feel like this is a nice move, but we have seen these moves, Ramin, go the other way. They can get up there and then fall back in, but all the numbers are now live right here with Netflix. We just had that trading hard, better than expected Q4 financial results. We talked all about this. They do see their Q1 EPS a little lower right now, as Adara mentioned. So despite these numbers being a little bit lower, the market loves the report. It still goes the upside, a nice move as well. UAL, nice upside there on that number. I mean, Adara will have this for us as well. Taking out 118 right now was the high. 118.50 right there for Delta. I mean, what goes up still goes up, I guess, as Delta getting ignited now to the upside is DAL. IBKR. Many of you may be trading on IBKR accounts. If you don't like the fees, buy the damn stock. There it goes. Nice move to the upside. It's IBKR. Continuously working as well. We'll drop those numbers to you when Adara has them. It's a good move up there for IBKR. Can we hit another home run with STK? Get some steak in you. STX right there. Okay, no. Seagate Technology now. So we get Netflix to the upside, we get UAL upside, we get IBKR, basically 3 different sectors. But right now you get Seagate Technologies to the downside temporarily. Right now we'll get Seagate for you for a minute, but it looks like a miss. Capital One is out, and Capital One is going to the downside right now. Not by too much, but it is a miss for Charlie Oscar Foxtrot, COF, Capital One, to the downside right now. Adara, you're looking at me like you have some numbers. What do you want to
Yeah,
review?
I do. I have some IBKR here. So they did beat here for adjusted earnings per share here and for sales EPS, $2.06 versus 184 expected here. Sales of 1.39 billion versus 1.37 billion expected. They also said they had a 37% increase here in their commissions revenue. Customer accounts up 30% to 3.34 million. So that was pretty good look here. Their Q4 adjusted sales at $1.42 billion. That's a great look. I was seeing some comments in the chat here that Netflix announced a split. I have not seen any evidence of that. I want to clarify. If I see that, that would be the first thing I would yell, I would scream. Netflix, to my knowledge and to everything I've seen, has not, in fact, announced a stock split. So IBKR, the other one there was COF and STX. So we had COF here. I'm not seeing their numbers yet, but STX, Seagate Technologies here, down about 1% despite a beat on earnings per share and a sales beat. If there's any numbers you guys want in the chat, let me know. I'll try my best to put them in there.
Good, yeah, STX right now, 203 versus 188 with a slight beat on sales, but a miss. No, sorry, double beat.
They beat, yeah.
Double beat, yeah, 233 versus 232 on the sales and 203 versus 188. So it's a healthy beat there for Seagate Technology. Like I said, could just be coming a little bit off the top there. You know, like when stocks build like this, there's a reason why when you guys are asking my opinion on Netflix, why I gave it to you pretty strongly there. It's like it had already come off the top. Like if we were trading up here and this number came out, sure, you're getting like a 3% beat. It's a little bit of an upside move, 3% move, sorry, same beat, but 3% move. But because it'd been beat down there, all the models now have to change. Those who had thought maybe it was going to miss now have to pay the piper, and you go upside right there for Netflix. Although obviously just a short float of 1.62%. I'm not standing in the way of this. Are you? There it is, a nice move up to 956. So let's just be a quick little recap here as you're joining us at the right time. It's about to be earnings season. Make sure you do hit that like and that subscribe. We're going to have Brian Shannon coming through. There's over 4,700 of you watching, so I say thank you and a big salute to that. We're coming back every single day with all of them earnings. We'll also talk about the market moves that happened today, including Google with new ATH.
New all-time high.
Boom, there it is right there. New all-time highs today for Google. Came close to it too, Fabian. We came close to breaking the new all-time high as well for BTC. Bitcoin, nice upside move, closes day around 107. We did touch that 108 and change, so we'll wait to see if we can take out 109 on Bitcoin.
Netflix announced a $15 billion buyback.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is what they're doing, man. These guys, I didn't think buybacks were going to be a thing this quarter because of the cost of capital, the cost to borrow. Now, instead of going out and raising money on the open market through bonds or anything like that, generally they'll go out, they'll raise $200 billion or something, million, whatever it is. They'll raise that money, then they can use that to buy back stock. But right now, Netflix don't need to do that. They're sitting on so much cash, they're going to put that back into the stock. We like when stocks do that, and there it is, man, a nice move up. Did you guys see this today? SMR today. No shaking rears today, man. Shaking my rear as it just goes upside on SMR. Buy those dips into 20 as uranium. And the reason why it catches my eye right there, URA, the biggest and the baddest of all the ETFs today as uranium up. Join me in just a couple minutes. We'll have Brian Shannon on. We're going to hear what he has to say about Netflix and some possible levels, talk about the anchored view up, so on and so forth. But look at URA, Adara. You're coming up to that 200 period moving average. We like that. That could be a good little call there as, hey, look, man, more power is necessary. We saw stocks like Rigetti really starting to go to the upside. Well, who's going to power all this? Who's going to power the quantum surge? Who's going to power this chip move? Who's going to power AI? All right. Well, apparently something to do with little small modular reactors, SMR, and NuScale starting to go back there to the upside. Look, there's Chemical, there's other pure uranium plays that may be a little bit better than a company that's not making money, but I like SMR. Look at Rigetti today, just absolutely on fire. Let's go into Let's go into a 5-minute chart just to have a look at some of these other story stocks today. Rigetti gets going with a relatively short float, not a huge short float, but 21% can get going. We've seen this. We made a play at $6. We got out at 9. We should have probably held on to that, but Rigetti still a nice upside move, up another 40 points today. All of you rejoicing that. What was QBTS there today? Again, nice upside move in them, only up 17%. Check the short float. 13%. So if you're looking for reasons, maybe Rigetti goes upside with almost a double short float, that of QBTS as well. And oh boy, did we get a run upside today in energy. Oh no, it actually pulled back there at the end of the day with a nice move up. XLE has been on a nice move. We sort of highlighted that today. Before I speak, I thought XLE was getting it. That's XLRE right there. The real estate sector coming back in. You had mentioned, Adair, that maybe we don't get rate cuts at all until July. Maybe not even now in July. I'm pretty sure it will. That's a long ways away. Will the economy change from now till then? Answer, yes. We're having a whole bunch of new policies. Maybe that doesn't happen. See you, Fabian. So look at the industrial sector now getting a bump up. Why? Industrials, again, a play maybe on agriculture. We have names like Caterpillar and Deere that could benefit from, again, a China trade, right? Look at Caterpillar. Look how... Wow, these stocks don't stay down for long. We bought the diamonds, man. I mean, we're happy with what's been happening in the broader market, but Caterpillar upside on this trade. Deere. Hello, John Deere. Nice upside move today, up 1.69% and continuously going higher. Does John Deere take out the highs? I say yes, it does. So some of these industrial names continue to fly. XLI, a good looker here. I think there's room to run over here. You know what else was working today? Gold. Gold continuously pushing. I said a couple weeks ago, and it was actually, I think it was with Brian, I said gold now probably a part in your portfolio. When we have global unrest, we have a new, I mean, it doesn't seem like Trump or the new administration's affecting the market at all. If anything, it's going higher here as we had a great end of the week and a great day today. Gold also contributing to a upside move. So I think this all continues to go higher as we look for new trades. Maybe gold might be the one trying to break through that $2,600 mark as well. So China got going today there, Adara, so that was pretty good. Let's just go back quickly as we talked a couple of different situations there. Let's go back over to some earnings. So Netflix right now holding highs, 960. We like that one. Good number there. UAL. Adara will go over some numbers if we missed any.
Totally do that.
Yeah, UAL 115, a nice upside move as well, up 7% now for United Air as that continues, United Airlines continues to go higher. IBKR, for those of us in the broker space, we got a tip from Charles Schwab earlier today as IBKR, not so impressive, but again, Schwab and IBKR already ticking near these highs. So you get a little bit of a bump up on IBKR because of Schwab and then into the after hours. Let's see what that looks like on a daily chart as well. So rate bouncing its head on all-time highs and indeed taking that out on IBKR. Let's check out Seagate as we're a little nervous here for Seagate. So it looks like they'll be pretty flat here off earnings back and forth. They did have that dump. We got a little nervous, down 5%, but bought all the way back up. Okay, President Trump, we just heard that news in our ear, looking to make a trade deal with Canada and Mexico. So kind of know about that already. The only thing that we could look at is maybe the US dollar or anything like that, but UUP is US dollar strength. That's US dollar bullishness. Today, UUP was down about 1.28%. We've had a monster move up in the dollar. Looks like it's trying to fade off just a little bit. Here's the dollar strength. I mean, you've seen this move happen, and then a little bit of a gap down here over the last month or so, but US dollar still trying to stay green. So I see someone in the chat right now. Great question. Thank you for asking it. What are the lines on the chart? So thank you, Finn, for that one. And the green line is the 200 period moving average, SMA. So simple moving average, 200 period, and then we have the 50 period moving average there as well. Before I go over to you, Adair, I know you're chomping at the bit. I just wanted to see what DJT was doing. A little bit of a pullback right now as, again, anytime we're going to hear some news about Donald and maybe policies, we look to DJT. It doesn't look pretty flat there now, but down 11% on the day, DJT.
Yeah, really quickly before we go to Brian Chen, I just want to recap Netflix earnings. I think that was probably the biggest report we had tonight. So EPS above expectations, sales above expectations. It was their first quarter reporting more than $10 billion in revenue. So huge look here for NFLX. They did report a 15.9% year-over-year increase in global streaming paid memberships. They almost doubled their expected global net adds, so great look for NFLX as well. However, they did miss across the board for Q1 2025 guidance, guiding EPS and revenue below estimates. They also here said basically that they're going to be doing a $15 billion buyback, and they announced a whole bunch of sequels for a whole bunch of movies and shows coming out next year, including Happy Gilmore 2 coming in 2025. We're going to have a whole bunch of international films coming in 2025. Apparently a new season of a Squid Game also set for 2025, so keep an eye on that for NFLX, though. I'm seeing some rumors that they announced a stock split. They did not announce a stock split. NFLX is not splitting as of yet. I really want to emphasize that.
Thank you so much, Nikki. We're going to have an American friend of ours on right here. You'd make a great American. Thank you, Nikki. I do appreciate that. And yeah, I don't think I will have the right properties to hold dual citizenship, but that would be kind of cool if I did. And again, 18.9 net. Listen to this number for Netflix. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that if I'm not American, but all right, Netflix, 18.9 paid streaming users in fourth quarter. The estimate was 9 million. Let me repeat that number. Maybe it's because Brian Shannon, maybe he's now streaming live on Netflix and they got like this huge bump because of it. 18.9 million net paid streaming users in the fourth quarter. The estimate was 9 million. They doubled. Okay, that is a monster play. We talked about it. Probably Jake Paul knocking out those numbers. Everybody signed up, and I'm telling you, man, they're not going to unsign. They may go down to the ad paid tier. Like, it's $5.99 a month or something, Adara. Honestly, how much was that matcha today? $7?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, and I know it might, look, I don't want to say, money to people, it's different for everybody.
The ad tier is also pretty mid if you're using your phone. I have the ad tier, and it's not that good if you use your phone. That. Yeah, because, so let's say I want to check the time, I scroll up to check the time, it stops the video and audio. What battery is my phone at? Stops the video and audio. Home button stops the video and audio, and then you have to go back. So it's really annoying. Like, I like it on the laptop, it's great. iPhone, highly, highly not recommend. Lowly recommend, I will say.
All right, well, I mean, Adara's been working the hardest out of all of us, so we're going to get Adara a raise, and then we can get that non-ad paid tier. But hey, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter about the money at all. It's just a matter of what you're comfortable with. Like, on Amazon, I don't upgrade the Amazon because I don't watch enough things on it.
But Amazon's ad tier I find more user-friendly than
I wish I had Disney's ad tier because I never watch anything on Disney. Let's go find out if our friend watches anything on Disney as well. We've talked to Brian Shannon about Disney. I have a feeling the answer maybe no. Let's go find out what he's talking about. It's Trader Talk with Brian. Mr. Brian Shannon, how are you on this lovely Tuesday? Doesn't it feel like a Monday?
It does. Funny that we've had so many of these shortened weeks this year. I think this was our third, was it? Or right? We've had
well,
one
I mean,
full
we just
week.
had one last week with Carter, right? And then now today or yesterday with MLK. Were you able to hit the slopes at all?
I did, yeah. I was up there. I got a good amount of skiing in.
Me and you are connected like that. I always see enjoying that nice weather. Of course, Netflix, an absolute monster. I was going to ask you, out of the streaming services, A, do you watch much on any of the streaming services? And B, is there one that you prefer, not from a technical standpoint, but just from a life standpoint? Do you watch one more than the other?
I probably watch Amazon more than any of the other ones. I'm not really sure why, just because I've had it the longest, I guess. I think last quarter is when I finally signed up for Netflix, the prior quarter. And I don't have Disney. I watched the Paramount Plus. That Landman's a great show. All the Yellowstone. So.
And are you an ad tier guy?
What?
Are you an ad tier, or do you pay to get rid of the ads? Because I think that's also true on Paramount as well, right?
Yeah, but Paramount is, I think it's all, I don't think I've seen any ads on that. I think that's an upgrade on, what am I trying to say? Amazon. Yeah. Amazon, when I watch regular shows, they show some ads. They're not too obtrusive, but I have the full Netflix, so kind of a mix, but no Disney.
if anybody's watching Beast Games, the majority of that was filmed right here in Toronto. So shout out to everybody watching Beast Games. Okay, Brian, on the daily chart, I got a lot of questions during the show. I thought Netflix was set up to beat. I mean, I really liked sort of that downside movement. If you come over to my chart, and maybe I'll ask you if you saw anything that maybe indicated something like this. I really like the fact that we did take down in one candle. We took down the 50-period moving average, but then we didn't really give it back to those sort of November lows. We didn't cover up the election bump at all. And then just kind of like Apple a little bit, I thought they just took a little bit of the foam off the top there and let it do this. If Netflix was still at its highs, we'd only been up like 3 or 4%. But the fact that we got a nice push down, we still like the story with Netflix. It continues to work. Anything you're seeing here, any possible predictions on where we could go? And is there a good level that we'd look to buy any dips in Netflix?
It sure seems like, it goes to the round number of 1,000 here pretty quickly. We're at 975.5. And, like you said, we had a shakeout below the 50-day moving average. I think the important thing to look at with a 50-day moving average is when the direction of the 50-day moving average is higher, you've got a greater likelihood that it is going to snap back. And certainly it took a catalyst here, and, a huge catalyst it is. It's, right on its highs here, even in the aftermarket. So looks like 1,000. And as far as buying it, that's a tough one, Sean.
Yeah.
It's so far extended in here this afternoon off this move that I guess, you would have had to been, paying attention and maybe bought it as it got back above the anchor from the initial high and purchased it, right in here. But it's going to be a tricky one. You got to be paying attention to it on the very short-term timeframes to look for a new entry in there.
I mean, I just dropped an anchor. I mean, this is something that you've showed me many times here. If you come over to the chart, Ramin, I just dropped an anchor right there on that gap from that October low right into that level. And look where we held. I mean, honestly, Brian, wow. Anybody that wants to understand more about this anchored VWAP, go grab this at Alpha Trends, anchored VWAP, maximum trading gains. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Gave you a great entry point on that report. There goes Netflix, up and away. Wow, Brian, you nailed that. 978 and still going. I think that 1,000 is definitely there. And then maybe next quarter, it doesn't look like we get one now. Stock split, we'll look at that, man. If that goes 10-1, what if it goes 20-1 and it's a $50 name? This thing will be back to 100 before you can even sort of shake a leg at that one. All right. So what else do we want to talk about, Brian? I mean, is there anything specifically that's setting up for you? Are there any earnings plays maybe that you're looking at in the next couple weeks? I mean, it's murderer's row. We could go over them all, but Apple's on the 30th. That's had a nice pull in. Is there anything that's sort of that you're itching at right now? Any pullbacks, anything at the top that you're looking at?
I keep looking at Apple for a potential buy, but it just isn't giving us a reason to do so. We came, pretty close to the 200-day moving average here today. That's that black line right here. And we did come to the anchor from this May gap up. So in this area, it's starting to maybe, become a little bit interesting. But, most of the day we were, and I saw you guys were shorting against that VWAP, which was obviously the correct thing to do. Most of the day we were below it. And with that declining 5-day moving average, I just still find it incredibly difficult to trust this thing. I did buy a very small call position. I bought some of the 225s for this Friday, and I paid $1.23 for those. So I do have a small speculative bet. I told myself, Sean, that this was one of the things I was going to do in 2025 is to take some, to take a stand at some of these anchored VWAPs with it's not much of a stand. I mean, I'm on one leg here basically. But to take some off of these key levels, and I'm kind of doing it because I did not buy the calls or the Qs right here on this key anchor, and that's what I told myself I was going to try to do is get some at these levels. So small position in Apple for me. It's not my type of bet because it is on a pullback, so it's way outside my comfort zone. So it's a small position.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Brian, once again here on a Tuesday afternoon. We actually have a question here from a super chat here from Bishwajit asking for your opinion on FTAI as a long. This company was hit by a short report last week, fell pretty viciously. Do you have any opinions on FTAI from a technical standpoint on these levels?
Oh, this is catching a fallen knife. I mean, this is just a busted name. It had that quick breakout, and from that failed breakout, I guess, as you said, Adara, there was news on it. It gapped lower this day, and it, gapped up and failed. Now it gapped down again. I just can't get involved in a name like this. We could look at a weekly chart and maybe say, is there anything here interesting from a longer term perspective in terms of an anchor? So I would go to the beginning of this move in January of 2023, and lo and behold, that's where we're down to. So maybe it starts to try to stabilize in here. I don't know anything about this company, but that is not just regular retail selling. Something happened here, and it really got institutional investors spooked. Just down 25% today. That's not something I would go near.
Yeah, I think that those great call there, Brian. I mean, I kind of thought that we just went through it because there was a question from the audience. So obviously, we're well able to take that. I want everyone to go follow @Alpha Trends, where Brian has a very, very small fee for a subscription. You go over so many questions. I'm sure you do lots of questions and answers during your live streams. I want everyone to go over there.
Yeah.
Find it at the bottom. Go find and follow this man ASAP. Look, one that I've missed, I'm going to give you a second to call up the chart, SoFi. All right, we've recently had some of the student loans being forgiven, I guess, by the Biden administration, and SoFi, I guess, reaping some of the benefits of this. It's really starting to break out here. And I mean, I was just wondering, we do get a lot of questions and answers. Questions, I don't have many answers from SoFi, but we just took out the top there. With earnings coming next week, I mean, it looks like it's trying to go. They're trying to make some money. They have a short float of 12%. First of all, do you like when stocks break out and have a decent short float, especially when it's ahead of earnings? Because this name could keep going. Those that are caught near at the highs may be short into earnings with a 12% short float and a lot of social media around SoFi. How's it looking for you? Have you been able to ever trade a little bit of SoFi? And what are you thinking right now with earnings next week, the 27th?
I have traded SoFi, not nearly as well as I should have, Sean. And, I think we spoke about this maybe a week or two ago. I remember talking about, we had that big volume move to the upside and a lighter volume pullback. And here we are going again, as you mentioned. We just broke past these highs. And yeah, a big short position is always nice to see when you have that in there, because those people have the potential to add fuel to the fire, basically, that they're stuck in the position and they need to cover. So I look at that, and the short interest has been coming down. Back in August, it was 20%,
right,
and now it's down to 12.5%, but still significant, right? So it looks like it might be, this could be a case of buy the rumor, sell the news. As it gets closer to that earnings report, if it's continuing to ramp at this pace, I would definitely start being a little bit protective of these profits.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I mean, I tend to look, and I got to do a little bit of research. How often do you look back to see how they perform, the day after earnings or anything like that? Like, is that something that you'll often look at and say, okay, SoFi's had this monster run. Is it worth holding into earnings? Or do you kind of take every report as their own and then just sort of trade it off of that? I know you're generally not in too many positions heading into earnings and trade them afterwards, but I noticed that SoFi generally pretty weak off earnings, but I'll have to go back and study that. Is that something that you look at is historically how they trade off of earnings reports?
I don't pay a lot of attention to that, Sean. I'll notice it, like when you'll see, often you'll see a stock and you see gaps that are basically 3 months apart. You know that those are earnings reports, and it's nice to see that. But I look at it as, when I start to look at, 80% of the time it does this after earnings report, that starts building my confidence that that's going to happen again. And then every time my confidence gets built, because I have these statistics in my favor, it does the opposite thing. So I learned to just take them each trade based on their own merits. That's interesting, kind of like back of the baseball card information, like someone's RBI doesn't indicate that's how often they're going to continue to hit it. Hey, he missed 2 times in a row and he's a 333 batter, so he's got to hit this time. That's not the way that's not the way it works in real life. So it's interesting, but generally not too helpful for actually making money.
Right, agreed 100%, and that's a good analogy there about baseball. So, I mean, in baseball, look, if you can bat like 300, you may make the World Series, or you may make the Hall of Fame. In trading, you know, 1/3, maybe not the greatest average rate there. All right, look, over 3,500 still watching us. I think a big idea that a lot of people want to know about is, what does Brian Shannon think of the recent crypto bump? I mean, we were all kind of panicking. It was just last week when we were down to 91, 92,000, and everyone, I remember even on the show, I was like, what are we going to get to first? Are we going to get to 50 or are we going to get to 150? And then all of a sudden, you go to sleep, you wake up over the weekend, and it's back up to 108, 109 again. So I have the chart here. It looks like we got as high as, and again, I think this is on CoinSquare, I'm not sure, 109.5 was the high that I'm seeing right here. We did have a little drip back into almost 100,000 again. Actually, we did drop into 100,000. So what are we thinking now? I mean, I'm pretty bullish. We do have that reserve hopefully going to get talked about. A lot of traders upset that there maybe wasn't that whole Donald Trump push. I know you put something out on the Trump coin as well. What are we thinking about all this? If you could sort of summarize where crypto might be or what you're thinking, maybe about Bitcoin and then maybe about some of these altcoins as a separate talk, but Bitcoin first. Are we happy at 106? We go higher?
Sure. So I've pulled up the chart here on my screen, Sean, and on the left is a daily chart. On the right is a 4-hour time frame. I've got a core position that's just 50% of my account that I've been holding since prior to the election. I sold some on the election here. I was 100% down in here, and I've been trading it back and forth. I was actually looking for it to come down to this anchor, and I missed a bid at 88,420. So as it rallied up here, and then on this pullback to these view apps, I bought it last week at 98 and change. And then yesterday, as it was pulling in, I sold it at 103 right in here, thinking, it rallied up, pulled back hard again. So I got out of my additional piece. I'm still holding my core 50% because we're in a nice long-term uptrend. Ethereum is also looking like, it hasn't really done much yet. And I've got a quarter-size position in here. Actually, I'm sorry, 12.5%. I cut it down. I got involved over here thinking it was going to break out past these anchors, similar to how Solana did. So Solana was down here at the anchor off of the August low, and it bounced super hard from there. I was looking at Ethereum because I missed Solana. So I'm thinking that maybe Ethereum could get going. So far, it's really not. And as you indicated, the Trump coin, the Trump meme, which is just crazy that this is actually a thing. But we won't go into the reasons of it. But initially it was holding the anchor from the beginning of the trading. Now it's up against it from the very beginning. So this is from the beginning of the move. We were holding it. Now it has the potential to become resistance and maybe drop back down towards 40. So it's kind of just finding its way, I think, the Trump coin does. But as far as the best upside that I'm looking for is probably in Ethereum, and I will likely add to it here if it can get up, beyond these anchors and get moving here around 35 or so. Right. But Bitcoin, it's in an uptrend. It hit an all-time high yesterday, and it's really, it's bouncing nicely again here today. So it's accepting these prices, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, prices don't lie. I mean, we talk about that all the time. Why fight the trend? A good friend of yours and the shows, JC Peretz, always talks about that. Like, we're in a bull market. So what do you expect, right, for that? So, look, Brian, once again, you never asked me to do it, but we always do it anyways because it's a fantastic book. It's Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. Go find it. And by the way, some really great comments on the chat. Apparently, your live stream last night was absolutely fire. A lot of traders were watching it there, so they really appreciate that. So make sure everyone goes and follows Mr. Brian Shannon. We always say it, man, we do it once a week. It never seems like it's long enough, but it's 4:33. We're already over time. Brian, thank you so much for everything that you shared with us, the insights on Netflix, Bitcoin, and the rest of them there. And we'll watch out for Ethereum, and we'll talk about that next week and see if we do get that breakout. So thank you so much, Brian.
Sounds good, Sean. Take care, everybody.
Cheers. Have a great week. That's Trader Talk. I mean, when we have guests like that, I mean, it's just I just sit here and listen and try to ask the questions from our viewers, and a great talk there. Thanks to Dara for that as well, talking about FTAI.
Yes,
I agree with Brian, man. Sometimes when you get those short seller reports, it's like stay away. Like, we don't know enough about it unless you do know about FTAI and what exactly is behind that. I would always stay away from those falling knives, but I do like Brian's idea there. You can always nibble on things in and around certain, 200 period, as he was mentioning there with Apple, or taking those 225 calls. Nothing wrong with putting a little bit on there, especially if you're trading something like Netflix. Let's have a quick look at what Netflix is doing. Oh boy, man, now we're at 982. Oh. When they doubled that subscriber number, that was absolutely monstrous. But you know what? Enough is enough. It's roll call. I mean, look, we could stay here honestly all day, Adara.
Yeah, I'm still seeing so many things coming in here too. Like, we had Rocket Lab here scheduling a launch for February 4th. They're trying to beat their record launches reached in 2024. Like, there's just so much news, guys.
Rocket Labs. All we can say to that one is blast off.
To the moon.
Or to the moon. Maybe to Mars. We're talking about going to Mars.
Right? Yeah.
Planting that flag.
That was wild.
Over there in Mars. Thank you so much. We do have a super chat right here. Thank you, Nimrod. There it is, man. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Nimrod, right there in the chat. Let's go to this, please, Ramin, and we will wrap this thing up right now. There it is, Nimrod. Thank you so much for that. So as we do roll call one more time, we will shout out Nimrod. Thank you so much for that super chat and those 10 gifted memberships. That means a lot to us and to everybody that's out there. It's $5 per membership. Thank you so much, Nimrod. Good super chat there. Thank you so much. Ozan, I don't have the cow thing here, but what's up, Ozan? For everybody, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe as we go, man. So thank you so much. All right, Ozan's here. Michael's here. Mike Breeze is still here. Thank you so much, everybody that's late with us. The philanthropist baker. What's your favorite baked good?
Oh, you know what? I love sourdough. I have a bakery right by my house, but they're usually like, they're only basically open while I work. So I go on the weekends, get some sourdough. Shout out to Emmer. Dope sourdough. What about you?
I like cannolis, but that's more of like a dessert. But if it's baked bread,
it's still bakery. Like, cannoli's still a very valid answer.
Okay.
It's a baked good.
And I'll take it. Yeah. All right. Cannolis. All right. So that's a good one there. What's up, Stuart? What's up, Pat? Anybody else you see over here? Because we're going to wrap this up.
I see Bob the Builder. I want to shout out Nimrod again for gifting those memberships. I want to shout out Bears versus Bulls always. I want to shout out Andrew Chow. Vedika Strolager. We've got Paul Tauro, Crypto FOMO, Carl Gruen, Nightbot. I'll shout out too because it's part of, the whole moderating ecosystem there. And with Rajesh, I'll do last and Mark. Yeah, it's been a great day, guys. As always, we have even more for you tomorrow, so be here.
All right, Bears vs. Bulls, a big thank you, a big shout out to Ramin, and of course, a big thank you to our guest on this program just 5 minutes ago, Brian Shannon. So thank you so much for joining us live, as you do every single day. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. What's the temperature right now? Oh, it's -11. It's actually getting warmer.
Oh.
No, it was -16.
That's fair. I still have to walk home in it, so.
Yeah. All right, from everybody here at Trader TV Live, this is Miss Adara, and this is a potato.
And this is a French fry.
All right, so we'll see everybody tomorrow. Trader TV Sean, Trader TV Adara, your account is active again.
Maybe.
All right,
Tag me either way.
Go follow both of us right now. Thank you, Ramin. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Ciao.